Hello, 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 hello. Feliz Navidad. Blake, sing it. Feliz Navidad.
How does it go?
Feliz Navidad. Thanks for your help. Fairlease.org. Check them out. You've heard us talk about him. That is how Blake is leasing his next vehicle. Super easy process. Go to their website, fairlease.org. The How Did You Hear About Us? Click Request a Quote, then select the Dumb Zone on the How Did You Hear About Us page. It pops up there. They can help you lease your next vehicle, and they're helping us with a remote tomorrow.
Whoa.
Friday, February 7th at the Haas Moto Museum. That is 4301 North Beltwood Parkway in Dallas. We'll be there. Soroy, Danny, Jared, Brick Oven Pizza by Wolfgang Puck, coffee, beer. Come check it out at the Haas Moto Museum tomorrow, courtesy of Fairlease, fairlease.org.
All right. I never listen. I'm gonna listen. I wanna listen to the
Oh, it's Thursday. I kept thinking it was Tuesday. Like I was trying to count the days, and in my head I'm calling this AL. So I thought it was day 3 AL.
Oh, okay. Okay.
We got BL and AL now, just where your life changed.
I like it. I like it.
Life changed for the worse.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, we are broadcasting live to tape from our downtown Dallas DZ studios at the Fox 4 building. You could join us on DZ TV studios, I should say. Join us on DZ TV tonight and every weeknight on Channel 27. More 27.
Must.
Which is what people have been saying every time they turn on Channel 27.
They just yell it?
I need more of this. I'm Dan McDowell.
I'm Jake Kemp.
I'm Blake Jones.
And along with Clayton, who does not have has a microphone stand, and then there's just like a wire hanging from it. I'm loud. Are you proud?
He can project like a classically trained actor. Like
We have one of
Jeremy
those
Piven.
rolling in at some point. We're actually live streaming today, too. Most people don't know that, but if you're tuned in, hey, what's up?
What up?
We're on YouTube. We're starting exceptionally early today because, well, here's Blake.
We're going to have Jeremy Piven in studio at some point. He's doing the 10 right now with Steve Noviello, our good friend, and whenever he's done with him and Hannah Batah, he will walk on over here.
Think you'll fire anybody in the hallway? Yell at them? Knock their lunch out of their hands while holding a cell phone?
I hope so. Yeah, apparently he's a comedian now,
Yeah.
doing stand-up, and so we're going to help him promote that. But so the reason was, you said, let's do the show early since he's going to be at Fox 4 anyway. This is your brainchild
I figured
to make us wake up this early.
I figured Jeremy Piven in person is better than on the phone or not at all.
I would agree. I'm not going with Dan's bit, his narrative here.
What? I'm not doing a narrative.
And this is the guy that says, hey, if we want to do mornings, let's do mornings.
I know.
I'll get up and I'll
Well,
be
you look
prepared.
sleepy, though.
Don't I always look this way?
No.
It doesn't feel like a compliment.
No, Blake looks like he's kind of run down. You all right, buddy?
I'm not morning guy, but I'm here and ready to go.
Were you up late?
No.
What's your regular bedtime nowadays?
I mean, it was like midnight, 1 a.m. guy, but now I'm closer to 10 or 11.
Oh, wow.
It's creeping up.
Look at this run the ball guy going to bed early.
Dude, I stayed up until 10 last night to watch PCU again, and that's the latest I've been up on a weeknight in a long time.
Well, I might be the late guy here.
You are. You get up at, I go to bed by 9 most nights.
I mean, I'm at 11:30.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure Clayton's.
Even earlier?
I don't know if Clayton even sleeps.
1 a.m., yeah.
1 a.m. Clayton, yeah.
Fall asleep with a Lucy in his mouth.
Boy, I had a trippy wake up this morning because I wake up to the Musers because I'm trying to not have my phone in my bedroom because otherwise I'll just scroll until midnight, and you're not supposed to look at a screen before going to bed.
Smart.
And so I keep the phone in the kitchen on the charger, and so I have a clock radio next to me. And
Run the ball.
I know, I'm
Run
getting there.
the
I'm
ball.
really, really getting there.
What, do you want to go call Fox 4 and tell them how many inches of rain we got later?
Oh boy, my rain gauge said
He does have a rain gauge.
Oh,
three,
my God.
3/10 of an inch.
Of course
but,
he does.
Anyway, and so yeah, the Musers were on this morning. They're live in New Orleans, and what I woke up to was Jacob Dedamore saying, "Well, I've got a text out to Killer. We're trying to reach the Musers." And I just woke up in a sweat of, oh no, the remote dropped.
Yeah, I love
and
it.
it's on the producer to somehow fill the few minutes.
He's just like he's a nom vet.
Normally I'm snooze, but when I heard that, trying to reach the broadcast, let's go shoot.
How many
we do
times
now?
has Blake just been panic Blake over that?
It's a good bit, though, for ratings, I always think. You're not going to tune out at that point. You're going to be like, oh, man.
Yeah,
Are they going to fit?
train wreck.
It
Yeah.
might have took me one time before I realized, okay, here's what I do here, content.
Yeah.
But it seemed that everyone around me was, let's go to break. And I'm like, fuck
They wouldn't even,
that.
yeah, and then they wouldn't jump on the mic and say that.
Yeah.
They would just hit the brake.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
might have happened to me once or twice during the top 10 when I was solo. But after that, I'm like, fuck, it's time for the TC and Jake show right now.
Yeah.
So I got to tell you guys about a couple things before we get into Jeremy Piven whenever he gets here. A couple quick ones from my day yesterday, Business Tuesday. Went to the chiropractor.
Business Wednesday.
Business Wednesday. Went to the chiropractor. They have a little roller table that you can lay on beforehand. Very nice. 10 minutes. And I just thought I'd share with you some small talk as a lady laid down on the roller table next to me and strikes up a conversation about the weather.
Oh, I thought you were going to say it was Luka talk.
No, this was a reprieve from that.
Okay.
And hey, it's raining. I thought it was going to rain more. It's a little warm.
I'm with her, man. Yeah,
I
what
didn't
is
think it would get this
just
warm.
so it was like 50 and then now it's
And I
70,
heard
80.
this. I heard this, which you guys are free to use. Today's show, parties, whatever. She said, I always say meteorologist in Texas is the only job where you can always be wrong and keep your job.
Hell yeah.
Run the ball guy loves that one.
Oh, that was interesting. Another update for you.
Did you tell her? Did you give her the stock answer about the weather?
Wait a few minutes.
It'll change.
I was leaving it was kind of her moment.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like she was
one upper.
she was crushing.
Yeah.
Yesterday afternoon, I went to the bank with my wife because we were opening another checking account that we're like both on. We don't want to use a credit card anymore.
Okay, so
the moment.
famously, Jake and his wife have separate accounts, and they will Venmo each other
It's far overstated, but yes.
for what seem to be common purchases in a marriage, but you end up Venmoing your wife for half of the thing.
Yeah. Now, again, the reality is 90% of our purchases take place on a credit card that we both pay on, and then we just have our own checking account so we can buy whatever we want with. And yeah, like when it's mortgage
Weed.
time, I will send her money, whatever. But we wanted like a joint checking account, so we're not using a credit card anymore post remodel. So we're driving there yesterday, and I'm like, it's 4:00. I'm like, fuck, and even in my newfound peace, my happiness, my clarity of life, I was like, I'm dreading this. There's nothing worse I hate than having to sit down across from somebody who is performing a role that does not need to really exist for, like if you're helping a company set up banking, maybe. We needed the most straightforward checking account that they offer.
And then do they offer you 7 different options?
Of course
you
they
have
did.
to.
And they told me beforehand, they were like, you need to budget for an hour. And I was like, Jesus Christ, there's no way this should take that long. I know you could
That's
buy
some expensive land on Business Wednesday, getting an hour out of Jake.
I know, and you can buy like really large things with DocuSign. So in my head, I'm like, why do I even have to go in here and sign this stuff in person? And the lady does what she does. First of all, it takes her every time she's turning the signature thing around, she's explaining that process. All right, this one's for Jacob. It's going to ask for your signature. My pin doesn't. That thing's a little funny. The system.
Yeah, how about this?
Do it.
I'll just sign everything you tell me.
Right now.
Don't
up front.
explain it.
Yeah, and then it's, hey, what are your financial goals?
So how quick could this have been if
10 minutes.
This was run in the world of the Bank of Jake?
10 minutes.
Okay.
And there's a lot of talk, but she's.
You should even be able to.
How old are your kids?
You should be able to give them that option and say, look, I can't explain every sheet here. Or you can say, I trust you as my
you can click
banker.
Fast Pass.
Yeah, Fast Pass, and I will just tell you sign. Like, which one do you want? Because I have all the info, but I also realize that perhaps you're 35 or whatever you are, and you've been through this. You know the drill. Like, okay,
Yes, that could have happened, but it didn't. So I've told my wife going in, I'm like, I hate this.
Boy, my wife loves the explanation.
This is one of the
She
few
wants to
things
sit there
that
all
I
day.
can't stand. And my wife's like, yeah, it sucks. Like, I deal with this a lot in business. It's just, it is what it is. So she's prepped for the idea that I'm not too thrilled about this. So we get in there, and at first we're just kind of trying to play the silent game. Maybe if we don't talk, she won't talk. Well, that's not working because now it's, do you have a savings account for your kids? What are your financial goals? Jacob, what do you do?
Oh no, that's
I'm like,
the worst. Thing.
Kind of like media production type thing. And that shut it off. I was like, that's good. There was no follow-up. But there was a lot of talk going on, and we weren't really able to stop it. So we started having conversations about, like, hey, who's going to pick up who tomorrow? Do we need to do this? Like, what are we doing on this, the house, this and that? And the lady's now just interjecting in our conversation. It's like, look, if we're going to be here, we might as well knock out some conversations we're going to have, but don't need you. She's hopping in. I'm getting even more pissed. And now it's time for, hey, we're going to give you guys new cards. And Kristen was like, it'd probably be a good idea if we got a different looking card than our regular checking accounts. Like, I have a red card, she has a red card. And the lady's like, oh, yeah, we have lots of options, lots of cool designs.
And here they are.
And she turns the screen around, and she's like, see, you can do all sorts of stuff up here on the cards. And at this point, well, I'll just tell you what happened. My wife goes, oh, they have sports teams? She goes, do you have a Mavs one? He loves the Mavs.
Oh.
And I look and I'm like, you bitch.
Like, is she trying to hurt you?
Yes.
She knew what she was doing, right?
She's barely able to get it out without laughing. She goes,
Awesome.
he loves the Mavs. And I realized in that moment I hadn't thought about Luka for like 41 minutes.
Well, there was a silver lining of dealing with that lady.
Yes, I was
The
away
bank
from
lady.
it. And I look over at her, and she's like, yeah, do you have he loves him. He loves him. And the lady goes, oh, yeah, we do. Yeah, we do. And he's like, she says something like, he's having a tough time with them right now. And she goes, oh, I know. It seems like they've been bad forever. I always hear about how they've been bad forever. Do you know if they're going to get good again?
Did you leave? Did you just walk out?
I didn't say a word. And Kristen at this point can't look at me. She's just
She's
staring,
having fun.
She's staring away. And when she looks over at me, she goes, yeah, Jake, are they going to get better? And I'm like, this is the worst thing you've ever done to me.
Were you like, actually, they might be better positioned to win in the next 2
short term,
years?
yeah, defensive
Better
rebounding were a real
defensively.
Celtics are going to isolate Luka,
Yeah.
I was so pissed off, too.
Boy, that's great.
She was just
Respect.
doing her own little show over there. And I have a couple more quick ones for you. This morning, somebody was coming to paint the door to the house. And it was like 8 o'clock in the morning. I had just taken a shower, and I had pants on, regular khaki pants, but I had no shirt on.
That is so hot. And you answered the door?
I didn't answer the
Like
door.
no time to get the shirt?
But I don't.
I'm just out of time here.
I still had to go make his.
Who puts on their long pants before their shirt?
Oh, I always do.
You guys do?
No, I'm typically
Okay.
shirt first.
I'll go shirt first.
I try to really minimize the amount of time that I have a shirt on
But
and
just-
just underwear.
But just being in pants without a shirt feels just weird.
Yeah, don't
Your
you?
I think
guts hanging over your
I think-
pants.
I think the inverse is way more true. Like if you have a shirt on and underwear only or no underwear, that is that feels to me like you're,
Shirt and underwear is fine. It's like a
Yeah.
bathing suit.
no, that feels like you're lining up for a glory hole to me. Like you ever get
that's not a bad
frustrated when a
feeling.
guy keeps a shirt on in a porno? You're like, come on, what are you doing? That's weird. Weird behavior.
No.
You keep
I have
your shirt
never been
on.
frustrated that the guy isn't naked.
Well, do you keep your shirt on?
Whatever happened to CM? No, it's clothed female. Naked
Yeah,
male.
it would be CFNM,
Yeah.
which is fine.
Yeah, but
The point is, I've never watched a porno going, man, I wish that guy had less clothes.
I do because I want it to feel real.
Sure wish his wiener looked better.
No, I'll go shirt because I don't want to look like a muffin with like these tight pants.
Yeah,
and just,
yeah.
like, skin
Your
spilling
gut.
out of the top. I'd rather have shirt, and you can look at my hairy legs if you want. But
It was just a matter of I threw the pants on and I still had to make him like breakfast, which could get I don't want to get peanut butter and stuff on me.
Not the guy who was painting the door. You didn't have to make him breakfast.
Not yet.
Okay.
But she comes in the bedroom and I'm like walking out and she goes, "Oh, the painters are here. You probably want to put a shirt on." And I look at her and I'm like, "Is it your feeling that Hector will be so taken by my body that he just can't work? Like he's just too horny?"
I feel like her feeling is just you're a decent member of society. And
You're in my house.
Yeah, but you still just don't walk around with long pants and no shirt.
Okay, so is it the pants that's bothering you?
Yeah, shorts and a shirt
Okay,
and
what
no
about-
shirt is okay.
That's less clothes.
It's just long pants don't go with no shirt. Shorts go with no shirt. You've commonly seen dudes with,
Yeah, sure.
you can.
but if you see a guy with no jeans and no shirt,
In society,
they're
very
probably really
unstable.
strung out.
Yeah, but not in my house.
Well, still.
So yeah, I guess maybe she just
Would you
thought
walk out in a towel or would you just throw something on? She's just trying to
outside the
make
house.
you be a normal human.
Outside the house, it would.
I'm
be
going to have to
weird.
side with her on this. I'm against her on the whole Luka
Yeah.
card bullshit. So what's the third? Who wins the full battle? Do you have a third thing with you and Kristen?
Last night, so in our home, or it's part of our remodel, there's a huge. It's not even close to done on the outside. There's a huge mound of dirt, and it's pretty close to the street. And we, a lot of people walk on our street. Not a busy street, but it is for a residential street. Fairly
Boy
high-
like to go run in it and play in it?
loves it.
Yeah.
Like I don't want.
There
it
would
to
be
go
no
away.
better gift on Christmas morning if you
Dude,
just had a
and
giant.
and every time he sees it, it looks like Christmas because he just gets out the car and just runs face first into it. Like, love the vigor you're approaching with and vim. So, it's on the street, and last night, the kids actually stayed at my mom's, and we were working on the garage.
Ooh, that's a euphemism.
Hell yeah,
Work on
oiled
that
up her garage.
Yeah.
And like I had gone back inside and she comes in and she's like, "These kids. Damn kids." I'm like,
Is
"What are
this
you on about?"
Neighborhood hooligans?
I mean, "What are you on about?" And she's like, "Well, I'm in the garage and I look over and I can see a couple like teenagers." And she's like, "And they're just jumping on the dirt." And I'm like, "Yeah?" And she's like, "Well, I yelled at them." I was
Why?
like, "You did what?" She's like, "Well, I looked over. I didn't know what they were doing. I couldn't tell exactly how old they are. I just saw 3 males kind of in our yard, and I yelled at them." I'm like, "Well, what did you yell?" And she says, I said, hey, off our property."
Oh.
I'm like, "What?" She goes, "Well, I don't know what they were doing."
My wife would do that exact
And I'm like,
same thing.
"Let's play this out. What's the worst thing they were doing? Stealing the dirt?
Yeah, how much of that are they going to ruin?
Did they bring a little pail to make a sand castle that they're going to fill up one by one? Like, what's the worst thing that can happen?" And she's like, "Well, I don't know. I didn't know what they were doing."
Now you're a possible target for an egging or a...
So what?
No, but I'm just saying, you weren't before.
Yeah,
Now you are a target, a potential target.
Go get this bitch.
If they want to do some toilet papering or egging or something,
Yeah.
they will choose your house.
In fact, that's not a bad idea. Maybe just to scratch the itch, I do it this weekend. And when I wake up, I'm like, I don't know. Probably shouldn't be ruffling feathers.
How come they egg just my car and not yours?
Mine's like freshly washed. I'm like,
Yeah.
"Hey, it looks like they respect me. They washed my car."
Yeah, that's
So it sounds like you're with me on this one.
that sounds like neighborhood lady thing.
Oh my God, to watch it happen.
Nextdoor.com or
Yeah.
whatever the app.
Just the morph of her into this.
I've seen that happen to my wife too, man.
It's crazy.
It happens to all of them. Speaking of wives, so just a tough week, AL.
Looks like we're
It's a tough life.
We're headed into guest time here, baby.
Okay, yeah, bring him on in.
You want to do a read?
Well, I do want to tell you about this. Well, I'll tell you about the wife thing when Jeremy walks in,
Okay.
because I think it's a good thing. Do we have a read?
Yeah, real quick. We're
What
going
do
to
you
tell you
wanna
about the Shriners Children's College Showdown.
Okay.
This is a baseball tournament. It's at Globe Life Field. Is kicking off the 2025 college baseball season with the Shriners Children's College Showdown. That is February 14th to 16th.
So are
Don't-
these for children in college?
No,
This
this
is
is college baseball.
Doogie.
Doogie Howser?
Yeah.
Yeah, playing college baseball at 9?
Yeah.
It's not that. So don't miss your chance to see Louisville, Oklahoma State, Arizona, Texas, Ole Miss, and Clemson battle it out at the home of the Texas
Clemson.
Rangers. Tickets on sale now. You can get yours today at shrinersshowdown.com. That's a fun type of event to take a young one out to. Very affordable. They don't know the difference. They're in a real-life stadium. So go check that out, shrinersshowdown.com. Hello, sir. Oh,
Let's fire up
better
that
now, I
microphone.
think. How about now?
Can you please pretend that you were just seeing us again and say, how's it going again?
How's it going?
Oh, there he
Go.
is. The
How are
great
you,
Jeremy
sir?
Piven.
All right.
Yeah.
He flies alone. I expected
Yeah, where's the...
well,
Don't say the word.
I wasn't gonna.
A bunch of people that
Yeah. So,
hang around with you and...
Yes. There is no entourage. Eagles soar alone. I like to speak in cliches, gentlemen.
that's
what
fine
I
with
do.
us.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine with us.
Yeah.
But
any way to get any sound in these fantastic cans?
Ooh,
Otherwise, it's just a prop.
Yeah.
it
yeah.
looks good.
We're
Looks
kind
like
of
you have headphones.
upstart flyby. We don't know what the fuck we're doing. is what
That's-
we're
I'm
doing.
so happy to be here, man.
We're just kind of figuring this out.
Because time's not valuable.
No, so,
Oh, wait. wait. I had it wrong. I'm sorry. All we have is time, gentlemen. That's all we have. There we go. This works.
All right.
so lots to talk about. Rewatched PCU last night. That was a favorite, of course. I'm 39. That was right in my wheelhouse. Feels like it was on Comedy Central every day for a certain period of time, and now curiously not that easily accessible in streaming services.
Yeah, isn't that interesting? It just kind of disappeared. It was, I think, before its time.
Oh, there's no doubt.
You had a group of people protesting, saying, "We're not gonna protest." It was very, it was ahead of its time.
Yeah, it's interesting. It definitely had a cultural impact, for sure. But I do like. Do you have a theory on why it's not out there? Was it out there on streaming services before, and then it? It's not a Me Too thing, is it?
It is. That's an interesting question. I would say I think we could spend a lot of time theorizing about stuff that doesn't work out the way we might see it or doesn't make sense. But I don't know if that's beneficial to us. I think it's a huge waste of time.
Sure. I've listened to
One
you
man
talk.
talking.
No, I've listened to you talk a lot in the last day and have a
Okay.
profound appreciation for the way you approach life. And
Yeah, I mean,
getting up in the morning and
yeah, I might brace you. I'm gonna just speak the truth as I know it. My mom passed away last week.
Oh,
Yeah, so what you're gonna
I'm
get
so
from
sorry.
me is no, it's all good. What
No,
you're
I
gonna
know
get
that's
from me
very important to you.
is just the truth and no fear and nothing to hide, and here we are.
that's it. You
Right?
bring up your mom. I heard
Yeah.
you talking to Bert about the performance,
Mm.
the movie that you got. It seems like it was all your baby, and you star in it, and it was based on an Arthur Miller short story in the New Yorker
Yeah,
that your mom gave to you when you were a kid.
this is a sports show, right?
No, we do. So we used to work at a.
Because that was just the sound of people going,
No,
we gotta find some. I need some Baker Mayfield news.
He'll give you that. He's got a
Okay.
jersey over there.
I love
but
Baker. We love Baker, by the way.
all right.
He's
We
one
do?
of yeah, I love him.
Okay.
He's one of the real ones.
What's your connection with Baker?
God, that's a great question. Doing Entourage and Wahlberg is infatuated with him. I don't know how I got on his radar. I was somehow in Cleveland doing shows. I'm touring, doing stand up tomorrow night at the Arlington Improv, Friday and Saturday night. That's why I'm here. And I was in Cleveland and just connected with Baker. It was when he was playing for them, and he's one of these guys who came out to the show. He shows up. He's not one of these guys that says, I'll be there and doesn't. He shows up. Listen, man, if you look at that guy's career, he got traded in the middle of the night to the Rams, showed up. He's got a photographic memory. It's documented. Learned the entire play sheet and went out there and won the game, after being with the organization for about 11 minutes. And everyone's counted him out. And he's a stud, and he deserves his flowers. That's one man talking.
It's a good synopsis of Baker right there, though.
There you go.
We're big fans.
Yeah.
He's hard to not like.
But you know what? He's a very confident, successful white dude, and you know what I mean. And that hasn't been the fashion. That has not been the fashion. See how quiet it just got?
Well,
here?
no, I was going to say, I feel like we've kind of turned a
quiet.
corner on that a little bit.
I think so with the new administration.
Well,
you could say
even before that, yeah,
you can just say whatever you want now.
you can.
I'm going to drop the N-word like 11 times during this interview.
Yeah, no, I but you know
We
what's
should
interesting?
tease that ahead for the Arlington Improv if people want to go see.
Well, if they if they're a fan of laughter,
Yeah,
or the N-word.
yeah, that's
the
what I'm saying. Tease the N-word could be said, might not be. Why don't you
Only
buy
one way
tickets
to
and
find
find
out.
out? Yeah.
yeah, it's funny. It's always the guys. I grew up. I was the only white boy on my football team. I'm an undersized Jewish football player, not unlike our boy Julian Edelman.
Ooh,
Yeah.
got a hero.
Yeah,
You got to have one.
the only difference between the two of us is I'm not an elite athlete. Other than that, we are identical.
So you mentioned, but the new administration thing, the shift to culture. I don't think like Ari pops while Trump is president. I think it was kind of people liked it because secretly they're like, yeah, you know what? It is kind of weird. I can't say gay. For me personally, I have somewhat maybe progressive policy beliefs about healthcare, things like that. But I also don't really want to police language. I don't think Ari takes hold like that if Trump's up there just being rude to everybody.
That's interesting that, maybe you know something about pop culture that I don't. I think that, it was kind of the forbidden fruit probably during the woke times, seeing someone that was an equal opportunity offender that would just crush anyone. I think, they were gravitating towards that. I've got a whole new group of fans. I got, guys in their late teens and early 20s during the pandemic that binged it and they're just screaming Ari. And, I think if the HBO and HBO Max knew that, if they knew that we already have this fan base and now we have this whole new demographic, they would probably want to reboot in the way that it's hard to find hits. It really is. And they're trying. They rebooted everything from Full House, Fuller, the full extension of the house.
What's the one with Kathy Bates? Is she Matlock?
It's hard to say what's going on right now. It's hard
There's
to
a
say.
new Matlock?
Yeah,
pretty
absolutely.
sure.
Okay.
But
Absolutely.
she's an old lady.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff happening out there. And I think, they're
Murder, She Wrote was right on the plate.
Yeah,
And they
right.
went to Matlock instead. So.
Yeah, why not? Why not? But I think because the show was just funny it's funny. I've been on stage since I was a child and was 40 movies into a career before Entourage even started. So I was ready. Like my mom says, the readiness is all. She quotes Shakespeare. I think, when Baker got traded, he was one of these guys who was like, he was ready to go. You throw the playbook in front of him and he crushed it. I think it's our job to be ready and stay ready. So I think if they were to reboot something like Entourage, I'm ready to go. And I think people are very hungry and curious about the backstage life of any lane, really. I mean, you could have guys representing athletes. They could be representing musicians. But I think it would be, I mean, Trump, he's, it's his second term, and they're going in hot. Elon Musk,
It does appear.
they're hitting the ground running.
Yeah.
Ari Emanuel, that my character was based on, is part of a group that purchased not only the UFC but the WWE, and I think it's incredibly relevant.
I definitely think it would work today, but I think it would work today because it took hold then. But it's a great show regardless. Do you want to put that picture up there real quick, Clayton? So you've been in, as you said, 40 movies before Entourage, just grinding. I forgot you fixed Chrissy's wound after the shootout.
Oh yeah, in Heat.
Is that your favorite movie?
It's my favorite movie of all time, and he's Dr. Bob, the off-the-books doctor that the criminals have to go to because they can't go to the real ER. It's incredible. Like, you've done a million things,
exist?
man. Do they really exist?
Yeah, did you
know LA.
method act on that?
I can tell you just a little peek into the life of an actor if you guys think it's glamorous. The reality is I'll never forget the audition for Heat. I'm sitting there and basically the only way to work as an actor is to beat out every single guy that's up for that role. And so you come and for me, I have to be completely off book. I can't have a script in my hand. I have to walk in there and make it undeniable. Otherwise, there's no way to work. You know what I mean? So I'm ready to go. I got my, couple lines of Dr. Bob. I'm just running them. First hour goes by, and I'm just thinking, okay, just stick it out, baby. You got this. If you can do this, you get to work with De Niro. Like, I'm a kid. So second hour goes by, and that's when you start, it's almost like the mushrooms take hold. Everything starts, like melting. You know what I mean? And then hour 3, and I'm not making this up, the third hour is that's when people crack. That's when they get up and leave. One of the guys, is a true story, I can't say his name, but picked up the casting assistant, put him up against the wall, and started screaming. At that moment, they walk out, and they're ready to see, and that did not go well for that particular actor. You know what I mean?
Baker wouldn't do that.
No, he wouldn't. He would keep his cool. That's the whole thing.
Yeah.
You got to always remain calm because at the other side of that is glory, because I held on to it for 3 hours. I walked in there, did my thing. Michael Mann, the director, is from Chicago. He's got a hardcore Chicago accent. He looked at me and goes, "That was good. Do that again. One more time. Dr. Bob, let's go. Do it a couple, 2-3 times." It's a hardcore Chicago accent. And I did it, and it worked out. And in the movie, when he says, "Give me your shirt, give me your shirt," and then they're supposed to cut. It's the end of the scene, and that's the only way that I have a career is I just keep talking, and I just go, my daughter gave me that shirt, and he goes, "Fuck you."
It's
wow.
I'm getting chills.
Fuck you.
I'm getting chills.
That's how De Niro improvises. Fuck you.
So you threw a little
I threw everything
improv in there, and
bro, I've been waiting my entire life for that moment. So you have to understand, I started Second City with Chris Farley in the 90s. So I was ready for that moment. Yes, of course I was terrified. It's De Niro, but I'm also like, you got to be ready. You got to be. You can't kiss the ring. You got to give him all you got. So I got a little De Niro moment, and 116 movies later, I'm playing the Rusty Chuckle Bucket in Arlington for $11, and
the Addison Improv.
We're living the dream.
The Addison Improv.
Yeah.
Tomorrow night, Friday night.
Arlington
shows.
Improv.
Did I say?
You said Addison.
Addison.
7
It
times.
says Addison on here.
Really? I'm at the Arlington Improv. Don't go to the Addison. Let's all come and meet me at the Arlington Improv.
What are you looking at?
The copy points that Blake put in here, but it's okay.
Okay.
It's Addison, but the date's right. Look, people know.
Do you know where you are? I thought it was Arlington.
It is Arlington.
Okay.
The Arlington Improv. It's one of those things where you just keep going. You're on the road and you keep going. Arlington is, without traffic from here, it's about 30 minutes from Dallas.
Yeah,
Something like that.
Okay.
Maybe not even in the
Okay.
evening.
It's
Maybe
in
not
the middle.
even.
It's the middle of DFW. It's not FW. It's not
if
D.
they mention Dumb Zone, let's give them some free meet and greets.
Okay.
Let's
Really?
go hang out. We'll hang out. We'll take some pictures. We'll hug it
Okay.
out. Right.
Somebody's gonna do this. We're not big, but we have rabid.
Well, what am I
amongst
doing
us.
here then? I thought you guys had
Yeah.
thousands of.
We do
No?
have thousands. We can.
Okay.
We can take that.
We could take that. Yeah.
yeah.
If we're going to talk your career, which I suppose we should, but I believe I fell in love with you as far as a guy on my TV in the Larry Sanders Show. That's
Larry
my
Sanders. Love it.
How? So that was one of your first things, or your first like?
Yeah, that was right out of college. One of my first auditions, and I remember I was doing that show was so good, and I was so lucky to be on it. But I'm a stage actor from Chicago, so I couldn't wrap my mind around the fact that I was a regular on a TV show. So I was still living in a pool house. I was like basically the pool boy while I was on the Larry Sanders Show, and Mark Hirschfeld, who was casting Seinfeld, came up to me on the CBS lot, and he goes, would you audition for Seinfeld? I'd never seen Seinfeld because I didn't have a TV. So, I'm a stage actor, so I was like, yeah, of course. Audition? Yeah, because we're just hungry. We just grind. So I went in and auditioned to play George on Seinfeld, got the role, had never seen the show. It was the pilot within the show.
The fake show, yeah.
So,
and that was well into the Seinfeld run.
Oh, they
'cause
were
now
the
they're
Beatles.
doing
They were the Beatles, and I had
a
no
parody
idea.
of themselves. So that's why it's hard to believe you had never even seen.
Never. I still to this day
because that was a Thursday night staple.
No, I'm a weird dude, man. I've never seen an episode of Friends in my life.
Okay,
Ever.
Sorry.
Are
I've
you
never
okay,
seen-
Blake?
I've never seen
That really
a scene.
hurts.
This is Mr. Friends right here.
That's amazing.
Yeah, but he
I mean,
thinks
that's
you're an
like-
Addison too, so he doesn't know shit.
Okay.
I just say a little copy and paste on my end.
Yeah.
Okay.
Think about all the years that you've watched Friends, and then how many more years I have.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I say that with love.
Wouldn't you say though? Then you would just respond that you've got it's wonderful love the life. He envies you because you get to go watch Friends for the first
That's right.
time.
Yeah. That gym is waiting for you.
Oh,
You know what?
beautiful.
I've
Will
never,
Ross
I've never
and Rachel
seen-
get together?
Yeah, I've
Yeah, who
never
knows?
seen it. So it just, I guess being that generation of those guys, and we all kind of, went out to, and we're struggling together. I just never thought of watching it. I don't know how else to say it. That's not me being rude. I just once you're not on the train, and it's taken off.
Yeah.
You can't then try to like be a deadhead and get dirty and get on the bus.
Was it your idea to leave Larry Sanders Show?
I got PCU. I got a lead in a movie, and that show was brilliant. The Larry Sanders Show, and I said, guys, I got offered this lead in this amazing film, and Shandling said, go ahead, I fully support you. You're great. You're great. And then they wrote me an amazing episode, where I got kicked off.
I thought it was hastily written off, though, only
Yeah.
that there was no indication that this was Jerry previous. I've watched
No.
the Larry Sanders Show a few times.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
So I know
but that episode, like, I wouldn't have been able to get like a meaty episode like that unless I was leaving. It's all meant to be, man. You just gotta embrace it, and no regrets.
Yeah. No, you were great on it. I
Thank
thought
you. So, it was fun. It was like for me, it was like graduate school. It was right out of college, and I get to just work with the greats and observe them, and it was a gift.
Were you able to improv there?
Yes, but that was one of those cases where, Shandling was such a rare beast in the way that he was a brilliant stand-up comic and loved acting. Jerry Seinfeld does not love acting or actors. He's made that clear. You know what I mean? He's a stand-up to the core and one of the best who ever lived. But Shandling was in love with the craft and the process and all that. So I was just lucky to be there. And yes, I could throw my stuff in, but it was pretty tightly. It was written brilliantly.
How about you as far as the craft and process of stand-up?
I love it. I do at least a couple hundred shows a year. And you guys come on out and see it. It's like, last night I was up at the Improv in Hollywood, and I'm always up on sets with killers, Nikki Glazer, Tim Dillon, whoever, So I'm thrown into the belly of the beast, and I love it because I can learn and grow and just continuously get better. And the reality is, yes, I'm a late bloomer to stand up. I've only been touring for 10 years. And to most stand-ups, they're like, oh, you're a baby. But the reality is, like, I've been on stage my whole life. I've been improvising and rewriting. So all roads lead to stand-up. I take it very seriously, and I love the process.
Is there resentment at all among the lifetime comics?
It's not my business, but I am very motivated by, I remember hearing a comic as I'm getting up on stage going, anyone thinks they could do stand up.
Right. Yeah, actor.
Yeah.
Because you already have a built-in fame.
Right. Well,
so you can get an audience
it's not even fame. It's just, listen, the reality is this. If I sucked, you would know. Everyone would know. And this is, it would be so joyous for stand-ups to go, see how difficult it is. And by the way, it is. And if I didn't do 200 shows a year, I wouldn't be good at what I do. You know what I mean? So I take it very seriously. And so yeah, there is resentment, and I find it like it's just motivating to me, because it's like anything else in life. The harder you work, the easier it looks.
You're the baker of stand-up comics.
Well, I'll take it. I'll take that.
Yeah,
I'll take it.
It's the walk-on.
Yeah,
Who found glory.
Yeah. No, I mean, but it's a very difficult thing.
Yeah,
because it's one thing to put out a movie, and if it sucks or critics hate you or whatever, you're reading that at home.
Yeah,
but you're standing on the stage. You're so alone.
Totally alone. And by the way,
all those people paid because, I like this guy in this or this. I'm going to go pay to see him. But if you suck there, I imagine they give you about 2 or 3 minutes of leeway.
Not even 2 minutes.
And then it's like, okay, even. I better be laughing.
No,
and I don't care if I liked old school.
Yeah, exactly. They'll give you whatever comes out of your mouth from the jump, right? They'll give you a courtesy giggle, no matter what it is. And then you're on your own. So you have to understand the audience now, they're used to TikTok. They're used to they've watched these guys. They've seen the best of the best. So you better crush it. And I love the pressure, because I love making people laugh. And from that pressure, you get better. You just get better, because I'm not interested in mediocrity. It's not interesting to me. I was a viciously mediocre high school football player. Okay? There are no 5'9" Jewish linebackers. Okay? So I learned very early on, like, how how I wear that. You know what I mean? Like, sitting, not getting all the playing time, that I wanted. It didn't work out well for me. And I think when you experience failure early in life, it's really healthy, because, then I just went, oh, no, this isn't right for me. And I'd been on stage my whole life, but it's not sexy, when you're in high school and you're on, you're in theater, you know what I mean? And the guy that was All-American wide receiver, and he was an absolute stud, and he got a 4-year ride to Michigan. And, you don't want to peak too early, and he could have gone.
Is he dead?
He's not dead, but, I think.
You've lapped him.
He parked your car last week.
He did a valet jog up to me, and I celebrated him with the power of Christ, even though I'm Jewish. No, he peaked too early. You don't want to peak too early. Do you know what I mean? But that was up to him. He could have been Jerry Rice. He really could have. This guy was All-American. I can't say his name, Billy Dawson. And Billy D was, 6'3", 205, wide receiver, big, strong, out of high school. All-American. You can look this guy up. And, it's just one of those things where, he's doing his thing, and I'm sure he's very happy. By the way, I have a bit on stage about Billy D, because he used to torture me in high school. And I have a bit about me going home and he and I meeting up again, and how no matter how much you evolve in this life, when you run into someone, you revert back to the dynamic of that relationship. From
still
back
big brother in you a little bit?
Totally. He's getting bigger and bigger, and I'm getting smaller. And this is a big brother, and I was one of the white boys on my football team, and I get to unpack that story. So for me, selfishly, stand-up is like, it's a way of people that they can understand who I am, because I just speak my truth about this journey, and I just talk about what I think is funny. And then, because I can rail against the universe, I'm not Ari Gold, I'm misunderstood. Who cares? You know what I mean? It's your job. If you really care about that, then make them understand who you are.
I would think being a stage actor, or if that's your background, would be great for that. Because one thing I find very difficult about stand-up is going out, doing something again that you have to deliver as if you're delivering it for the first time ever.
Yeah. Well, yes, that's an excellent point. I mean, without being too cocky, the performance element of stand-up, that's who I am. I mean, I've literally logged more decades, as many decades as anyone out there on stage. So I'm very comfortable. So that's not the variable. The variable is material. But you're absolutely right. If I've got these bits and they're working, I can hit it every night as if it was the first time, because that's what acting is. You're saying it for the first time. You're experiencing it all. So I'm locked in on that. So for me, it's just all about material, and that's why I love it. It's just fascinating to me to continue to hone the material.
When you first started, though,
When I first started, you have to understand.
do you do it in the mirror, or you do it at home? Or,
No. When I first started, it's like any other comic. You know, I got up at the Laugh Factory on Sunset for a benefit, and I knew, okay, they're gonna have me up there with a cagey, massively successful stand-up, a guy named Russell Peters, who travels, the world. And I knew that Russell was one of the best at crowd work. And I knew, okay, he's, because these guys are very proud of what they do. Yes, I'm a prolific actor, but he's going to expose me and show how difficult stand-up is. But, I'm a very competitive person. I was like, have a couple jokes in your back pocket. Just be ready for the moment. And so I was ready for the moment, and I got lucky, and I got some laughs, and it was completely addictive. And that's how I got hooked on stand-up. I was like, wait a minute. You can do some bits with punchlines alone, and then you hit it, and they laugh. Like, it was immediately addictive. And then you start, at these dive bars, and you're at dive bars, and you're bombing. And then you have to learn, okay, even though I've won 3 straight Emmys, who's counting me, I'm standing up in a dive bar, and I'm bombing. And, there are a couple people that are there to see the DJ, and they don't know who you are. They don't care. And there's a couple comics in the back, and you're taking their spot, and they're furious at you. So then it becomes, how do I work through this feeling where every fiber in your body is saying, get off stage, this is humiliating. How do you breathe and work through that? And once you do that, then you're just going to get better.
See, that's humbling. We always focus on the
you gotta
idea
be humbled.
athletes do not know how to use the word humbled. You'll score 30,000 points, and I'm going to the Hall of Fame. This is humbling.
I'm humbled to be in the Hall of Fame.
Well, that's why I think, to be honest with you, and this is a much longer conversation, like take the NBA, for instance. The NBA is, is changing. What you're seeing is a lot of European players.
We know.
You know what I mean?
They just traded ours to the
I
Lakers.
know. You got Luka, and these talk about humbled. Luka was overseas and playing, against grown men when he was a child in the toughest stadiums in the world. They're smoking, they're screaming, they're
flares.
They're just
It's
mad.
awesome.
He's seen it. By the time he got to the league, he had seen it all, man. And now, you talk about these guys that are maybe getting paid real money in college, and they haven't been humbled, and they haven't heard no since they were 13, and they're up against some dude from Slovakia that's been grinding, and he's taken their spot. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're starting to recognize it too.
Yeah.
I've noticed. So I heard you've talked about how the character of Ari and how massive that was. That was probably the biggest character on television for half a decade, and how that.
8 seasons in a movie, but who's counting? Keep going.
And
Sorry,
how
it was a
that
full decade.
How that full decade, and how that just changes the way that people interact with you. They see that character.
Yeah,
sort
you
of
have.
thing.
You have to understand. We started the show, and I'm not big on dates, and we don't need to get into that because a lot of people are like, "Bro, I saw you at a Cubs game in '97. Do you remember?" I'm like, "No, I don't remember yesterday." But when we started Entourage, it was just before. There was no social media. It was before TiVo. So like when we were doing it, people would gather around Sunday nights and they would all hang out and watch the show. So that's what it was. And so to be honest with you, even though the show was massive, I was just a stage actor from Chicago grinding, doing my thing, and just trying to execute. I know that sounds very diplomatic.
No, it doesn't.
I'm just being honest with you.
It is diplomatic, but I'm just saying. I just mean that people perceive you a certain way based on a very popular character. It happens to all sorts of different actors.
And
and
let's
actors,
go
right?
back to Baker. I guess Baker is a through line in this interview. I was perceived as a rich, white, type A, arrogant guy with a massive target on his back. You know what I mean? That guy's easy. Let's take shots at that guy.
So because of that, I was doing my research last night, and I found some relatively small comedian, but the video had like 100K views, and she was telling a story where she had opened for you or hosted for you, and she was kind of bitching about it. And it just got me thinking, like, people are predisposed because of what they see on television to think that this guy's an asshole. And here's the thing. She told a story about how she told you that the wireless mic, here's how you turn it on. And you're like, okay. And you went up there, and a few minutes in, the mic turned off. And you're like fumbling with the mic, and I'm like, immediately, I'm like, that's a bit.
Yeah.
So she went over in front of the stage
Yeah.
and turned it back on for you and handed it to you.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you're an idiot. And then
Yeah.
she said, this is her telling how wrong she was.
Mm.
And then she said, in the second show, it happened again. And I'm like, why would that be?
I
How
don't
could that
know.
have happened again? And then
It
she
just keeps
she
happening, and
she
then he
gives you
made-
the mic again.
And then he made an entire bit that was identical about it.
yeah,
It was
it
weird.
did it again.
That he doesn't need a
And
mic
then
because
at
he's
the
a
end of
stage,
it, she's
he's
like-
a stage-trained actor.
At the end of it, she said, and Jeremy was like, hey, next time we do a show here, maybe you don't try to ruin that bit for me. And I'm like, that's what you deserve. You ruined the bit. I'm not a stand-up. I can tell you exactly what he was doing right
Look,
then. And she's
you-
like, and the
here's-
lady guy she's talking to is like, yeah, I've heard he's an asshole. And I'm like,
Yeah.
what is happening here?
Absolutely. Here's what's great about getting older, guys. I'm going to save you guys a lot of time.
Well, he's already wasted his on Friends.
Well,
but
no,
still.
I'm going to save you guys a lot of time. The old me would have been triggered, would have been angry, would spend a lot of time right now, trying to make you guys understand what really happened, And now the reality is like, listen, man, what people say about you isn't our business. And I learned the hard way. The reality is when you're high profile, listen, people, a great saying about success is when you can create your own trajectory without having to bring someone else down for your own momentum. And I think we're living in times where it's just like people are just trying to everyone's looking to hack into the system. I need my cookies. I need my flowers. Let me bring this person down. That's not interesting to me. I'm just going to work as hard as I can. I'm not going to get triggered. I don't know who you're talking about. That was a bit. You know what I mean?
Of course it was. It was obvious.
Yeah. So for me, every comic that's ever opened for me or that I come into contact with, I'm really fascinated by their. So like if someone's opening for me, I'm asking them questions. I'm taking notes. So I don't live in fear of these moments because I know who I am.
That's cool.
If that makes any sense.
Of course it does.
Yeah. So, it's like, I would say for her, I want her to win. So I really do think when we have negative speak like that about other people, it doesn't actually help us. I think people think that it helps them, but it doesn't, if that makes any sense.
For sure. One thing you said that got me thinking, you mentioned doing the charity benefit. I have a friend in Vegas. I just call him my Vegas friend, Vegas Mike. And he said he met you, Michael Sartain, at a benefit. I think you were doing
Yes.
stand-up.
Yes.
And the benefit was trying to raise money for plastic surgery for survivors, female survivors
Oh
of
my
domestic
God.
violence.
That was not,
And it
that
was
did not go well.
headlined and hosted by Caitlyn Jenner.
Yeah. That for me,
I just want to know anything
No,
you
no, no.
have.
Wait, for
No,
victims of domestic violence?
You get a woman who gets beat
Okay.
up. They a lot of times need
Yeah, no, it
who's subject to
sounds-
abuse, need reconstructive surgery to get your life back together.
Jeez.
So here's what happened.
But
here's
so did he.
So here's it.
She.
I learned the lesson the hard way. I was asked, this is very early on in my stand-up career, to do this benefit, and I was honored. Like you show up and you do your set for free, and it's actually for people that specifically have been scalded in the face, have been thrown like boiling water, been thrown into their face, and so these surgeons, donate their skills to reconstructing their faces. So no one told me to do a clean set.
Oh no.
So I went and did like this wild, I was like, okay, I'm just going to go out there and make them laugh. And it was definitely like, I've never bombed like that in my life. It wasn't just silence. It was gasps, people gasping, horrified, just looking at me like, how do we make him stop? Do you know what I mean? And so it was one of those moments where it's like, oh yeah, you gotta know your audience, man. And you gotta know, had they said to me, look, Jeremy, just so you know, there are a lot of traumatized people out there. like I have this one bit about running lines with my mom. I do lines with I don't do lines with my mom. Sorry. I run lines. Don't do lines with your mom, kid.
Well,
Mom, goddamn, I'm so glad you banged Dad. And your mom's like, we have to clean up before the cleaning lady gets here. Mom, let's do less cocaine. So I would run lines with Joyce Piven. And so I do this whole bit about, and then I launch into an actual word for word scene from Entourage, because my mom would test me on all my lines. So everything I said is Ari Gold, I said to Joyce Piven's face. So I'm like, Lloyd, have you had so much cum squirted in your eyes? And they go, ah! And they're like, literally, like, everyone's like, it was like this moment of like, it was like springtime.
PTSD.
It was springtime for Hitler. It was madness. It was like, I was like, everything went into slow motion. It was terrifying. And, lesson learned, man. You got to know the room. Mm-hmm. You got to know the room. And I was doing bits that, like, at the Arlington Improv. See what I'm doing tomorrow night and Saturday. It's gonna go well.
Arlington.
It's gonna go. It's gonna not Addison, kids. It's gonna go well. That particular event. It didn't go well. Bless your buddy Michael. Shout out to Michael.
He's a good dude.
And the positive there is that it lifted up the other comics on the bill to where people thought they were better.
No one was lifted.
People thought they were better once they came on.
There was no one else. I was the only comic they booked. The set, they say art is when you can make 10 minutes seem like 8. My 47-minute set felt like an entire lifetime. It was a disaster.
Yeah, I mean, and for people who have been scalded by burning hot water and they're still like, make it stop. Like that's that's
very
that's a tough one to
very
pull
impressive.
off.
Did you? I know Ari Emanuel. You always say that's the inspiration, right? But
the muse.
Does Bob Odenkirk's character in Larry Sanders? Hate to keep going back to Larry Sanders here, but I don't even know if you guys crossed over on that.
Not, bro. Your head's gonna explode right now. I'm so glad you brought that up. There's a real reason. You won't believe this. You're gonna pull this up and maybe even splice it in if you can. Bob Odenkirk and myself, and I'm not making this up, are in a scene with Mark Cuban and on Entourage, and Mark Cuban has all the lines. And I'm standing there with Odenkirk, and I remember just going like, wait, what is going on? And God bless, I love me some Mark Cuban. He's the fucking man, right? He's a genius. Prolific, badass, authentic dude.
We're big fans.
Yeah, but why in God's name does he have all the lines in the scene? It's like you got two very capable actors who want to contribute, and it was just one of those moments, and he's just such a fucking badass that he just like embraced it. You know what I mean? It would be like, me saying to Luka, "No, bro, I'm gonna bring the ball up.
Yeah,
and I'm gonna look. I'm going to the hole. I know you got a good shot, brother, but I gotta have my moment." So Cuban just kind of launched into his look it up into his massive monologue, and just every once in a while they would cut back to me and Odenkirk just silent.
But I wondered if like his portrayal of an agent. Do you remember that? Like I said, I don't know if you guys are actually on the show in the same season.
Do I remember Bob Odenkirk's agent? No.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
No, he portrayed Larry's agent. Right.
I understand that.
Okay.
Listen, brother. Again, Bob Odenkirk is probably one of the greatest comedic minds ever. He comes from sketch comedy. He comes from doing the Herald with Del Close, and he is a flat out genius. Did I look at his portrayal as an agent in the Larry Sanders Show and take from it in any way, shape, or form? Absolutely not.
Okay.
I'm just being honest.
No, but what I can tell you is after watching PCU last night, I always understood the old school parallels. PCU obviously a little bit more incisive, especially for the time. But the role that you're playing in old school is just a better version of the.
Let me go back and tell you a little bit about the journey really quickly and old school. So Todd Phillips, who we all know is one of the.
He's here for the gangbang.
He is indeed, exactly. Brilliant comedic mind. And so he wrote and directed Old School and then went on, Joker and all that stuff. And wildly prolific. And I got a hold of the script, and and I'm not just saying this. I read this script. Imagine reading Old School. It's exactly what the movie is, right? I was like, "Are you kidding me? This is unbelievable." So I was like, "Can I just meet on this?" Yeah. Todd's, he's meeting people. Okay, great. So I go in and meet, and I go, "I'd love to play." He goes, "No, that's Will Ferrell." What about now? That's Vince Vaughn. What about that's okay? What do you got left? They go, "Well, the only thing we got left is the dean, and he's a nerd, and the guy they locked him in a dumpster." You can't play that role. It's the only thing we got left. And I go, why can't I play it? And he goes, look at you. You look like you're like Vince's best friend. Yeah, I remember he looked at me. He goes, he said to me for some reason, you're built like a gymnast. I was like, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm built like a gymnast. I never even thought of that. Thank you. I go, well, would you allow me to audition? He goes, sure. I went out, found the worst sweater vest you could find, found these glasses that are not unlike these. Right,
That's them.
Did a fucking comb over, wore the sweater vest, and got in there and did the audition for him, and I got the role. And it's one of those things where, that's the great thing about acting. You know what I mean? It's like we went through. We're coming through a very strange time in culture, as we all know, where like, if you weren't you had to be trans to play trans. You know what I mean? It's like, guys, we went to acting school, but this is what we do. This is what we do. Just give me a shot. Just give me, I just want an opportunity to win. You know what I mean? So we've come through that, and this is one of those cases where he looked at me. He goes, "No, you can't play the nerdy dean." Well, yes, I can. That's what I do. So I loved it. Old School was an incredible experience. It was the only role left. You know what I mean? And I had an absolute blast. Vince is an absolute stud. Will Ferrell, from all of his years on SNL, you cannot make this guy break, no matter what. And and he was incredible. And that movie stands the test of time.
Oh.
Yeah. No, I remember thinking that when I first saw the movie or saw you cast in it, because I'm a fan, and then I thought, you should be one of the guys in the fraternity. And the age didn't really match either. Like, you're not the dean in Animal House.
Yeah.
You seemed similar age, but anyway, I think it was great. In the end,
Listen, we need and
Very believable.
Todd Phillips. My dream would be now, because he's been famously quoted as saying, "We can't do comedies the way we used to," and the irony of that is, if he did, it would be wildly successful, because people miss that. They miss dark comedies. What's the last great comedy you saw? I mean, I bet you can't even think of it. What's the last great comedic movie you saw?
It's been a while.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
There are
wait.
Netflix series and stuff like that I enjoy. Like, I'm a big I Think You Should Leave fan. It's just
that's
avant-garde, but
so
not
funny.
necessarily like biting.
Film.
But yeah, super bad. Super bad felt
Okay.
felt
That was-
somewhat to me, but I don't know. I'm trying to think of what else it would even be.
Yeah. I think we need to bring edgy, dark comedies back, man. I mean, why not do an Old School sequel?
I'm there.
Older School. I don't know.
That's what it'll be called.
let's do a Say Anything sequel.
Say anything. Okay, let's do it. Let's
See them all like not talking to each other, and I'm
our high school-
projecting my marriage. Sorry.
Yeah.
Something like that. Just they're all at home, and it's just never like kind of like The Graduate end. Like, where are they really going to be happy there?
I think it's time. I just read a script. A guy named Mike Binder, who's a brilliant writer,
know that
director,
name.
stand-up. He directed all of Bill Burr's stand-up specials.
Okay, maybe that's right.
He wrote and starred in Mind of a Married Man, and he's incredibly prolific. And he's, he's a guy who's, he's in his 60s, and he's back on stage doing stand-up. I was just doing a benefit with him for the firefighters, which I got a ton of material for. I'll be doing this weekend. It was so fun to okay, let me write some stuff for them. And how all the people are just like, I want a first responder to look like me. I'm like, I don't want a first responder. I want a fucking Irish 30-year-old alcoholic vet
Yep.
who's gonna get fucking hammered and wake up naked on a stove to put me over his shoulder. I don't want a fucking Jewish actor from Chicago with a bad
You don't
back.
need representation.
No, we don't need
yeah.
that. I need gender fluid on the fluids. No, just stop with the fucking fluids. I don't know how we got on this. How did we get on? Oh yeah, Mike Binder. So you're talking about redoing these things. Mike wrote this script. Talk about a dark regional comedy. I read it and I was like, oh my God, this is incredible. And it's funny. It's a two-hander. So we gave it to some other, actors that you guys may know. What do you guys think about this? And they're like, it's too dark. And it's like, that was last year. I feel like this year is different. I feel like, okay, I think the fear is starting to drop. And I think what we're entering into times where people are realizing, well, we have a business to run. I know that we're supposed to be looking at it through this lens, but let's just do the best. Let's figure out the best way to do this, whatever that is. And also, people miss edgy, great material. So this is dark. It's a dark, dark comedy, but I think they're missing it. So this is one of those things where it's called fastball. And we got to get this thing made, man. And I think that people are going to go back to these really edgy, comedies that over the past 4 years or something, they might not have gotten made.
If you've lived through the cancellation fires, I might suggest you just do like Soul Man 2 as the lead.
There you go. Let's do it.
I don't know if blackface is the move at the moment.
We don't know. Last year, you didn't know we'd be
Just
where
put
we
it in
are
the
now.
can, yeah.
Maybe next
Then-
year things.
Soul Man 2.
That's what's weird about your world,
Man
though.
2 Electric Boogaloo.
This world that you
Coming
live
on
in,
the 12th of Never.
which is
Please
way
enjoy.
different than your stand-up world, is that guys will write something or be working on something, and it might not get done for a decade, right?
Yeah,
Or
the
more?
performance, right?
I have a movie called The Performance, and it's taken me 15 years to make. And it's an adaptation of an Arthur Miller short story that my mom handed me out of the New Yorker. And my sister adapted it and directed it. And I play a tap dancer in Brooklyn in 1937 that hides his identity and dances for Hitler. And it's the best work of my life by far. And it's just interesting that, I'd always, the guys, of my generation, the Jon Favreaus of the world and all these guys got very early, the Pete Bergs, they got early, well, wait a minute, I need to be creating my own material. I need to be writing and directing. And I just stayed in my lane as an actor. And then I finally went, wait, what am I doing? So this is my first attempt at that. And sure enough, it's by far, it's the best reviewed movie I've ever done in my life. The best reviews of it's, from Variety to Deadline to Roger Ebert have said career-defining performance and all this stuff. And, sometimes it takes, you just got to stay in it, not give up, and trust yourself. And I broke 8 ribs while we were filming, and here we are. And it'll be out. I can't tell you exactly when, but it'll be out soon. And I'll be back and we'll talk about it. But it's definitely because when I was pitching it, imagine people being maybe fans of my work, and they're like, okay, what do you got, Jeremy? And I'm like, I play a Jewish tap dancer, and they just burst out laughing. You know what I mean? And they're like, can we get a check? They just leave. So I couldn't get the money. It took me forever to find the money. And then the irony is, I knew that I could do this, and I knew it would be the best work of my life. No, I wasn't a tap dancer, but every year they said no, I kept tapping until finally I got good enough. So it's like a metaphor for the timing of the universe. It may not be on your time, but you have to trust the universe's timing. Welcome to my TED Talk, guys. Welcome.
I was going to say, we got deep.
You don't podcast anymore?
I don't do it because
It's for low lifes.
it really is. I don't know what the fuck you guys are doing. Okay.
It's true.
No. There was an issue with something was going on, and they were. I can't unpack too much, but on the other side, there was. It came to fruition that people weren't being straight, and you know how that is. Anyway, so they had to shut down the company that was putting it out, and anyway, so I'm regrouping, and yeah, I got to interview so many you had the cubes on there? Mark Cuban was at one point I said, Mark, what's interesting is I played a douchebag on television. You're an actual douchebag. And he goes, I know, baby. It's fucking good. And the thing is, he's just one of these guys where it's he's kind of an anomaly where he owns his authenticity. He has no fear. He's wildly prolific as this entrepreneur, and he's just crushing the game. And he's some may see it as arrogance. It's just confidence. You know what I mean? So we love a little Mark Cuban.
Arlington.
Let's go. I have to go, you guys.
I was going to say, we were just kind of waiting for you to get up and walk out. Like, fuck, he's gonna... Tomorrow, February 7th, there's a 7:30, there's a 9:45. Saturday, of course, Feb 8, that's 7 p.m. and 9:30. That's right. And just yell at it.
Just yell. No, not in the middle of
the middle of the show. Then you end up with like the lady at the one club. But get it across. Just not in the middle of it.
We'll hang out. We'll take some pictures, smoke some cigars. I just want one guy from this room to come, and I'll tell you why.
Like right now?
Yeah. You got to work me up.
I was going to say, I can't just...
that was very awkward. I mean, if you
you're Jeremy Piven. I can get there. It's just not,
make it to the show so that you can say, yeah, I saw Piven. He was viciously mediocre, or holy fuck. You know what I mean? Like,
you have my word.
Let's just someone come because
it'll be me.
Just
I'm
finish.
gonna come.
Someone finish in my face.
Okay,
What?
we're going to come all over Jeremy Piven in
be there.
Arlington.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Let's
at the,
go.
Arlington Improv.
Yeah.
And
what he means by that is empty your bag. No, hold on. Wait.
right, your sack
Yeah.
I'll buy you a drink.
all over Jeremy Piven.
I will
Well, thanks
buy
for
drinks.
joining us, man.
Thank you for having me.
That's the
Dumb
great
Dumb.
Jeremy Piven.
Thank you, guys.
Let's take a break.
You're listening to The Dumb Zone.
Have I talked to you about ownwell.com today?
Not today. No.
Now, that's the place that will save you money on your property taxes. But, well, so it's easy to go there. Ownwell.com
/thedumbzone.
And not only will they save you money on your property taxes, but they do bill reduction as well. I didn't know about this until Blake said he signed up at ownwell.com /thedumbzone. And so what does that mean? You put in...
So I signed up to do my property taxes.
Yeah.
Signed up for free. They got me some money back.
Right.
And then from there, you're in their portal, and then it can say, it says your cable bill, your internet bill, your what have you, and they'll automatically check all of those for you. Don't have to enter in any more information.
Says they monitor and compare bills regularly
Yeah.
to ensure that you're not overpaying.
And here recently, about a month ago, I didn't even ask them to. They just said, "Oh, hey, we lowered your internet bill." It's amazing.
Out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Incredible.
You're just sitting there,
Sitting here,
spending your money left and right. You
watching
didn't even
Friends. Yeah, then pops up, bam, money saved.
And you
know it. And you didn't do anything.
Nothing.
you don't owe them anything at Ownwell unless they save you money. So if they can't, they'll do like they did to Dan. They'll tell you, hey, let's go on about our business here. 86% of customers do receive a reduction, so go check them out at ownwell.com/thedumbzone. Save some money.
It's the good reduction, not the Punky Brewster reduction.
Right, not the slap in God's face.
Right. No, this one is like shaking God's hand.
Dapping him up.
Yeah, it's like a little bro hug. That's what you would do if you saw God, correct?
Well, that was a good time. That was fun.
Yeah, Jeremy Piven. How about that? We have a new friend. I didn't want to promise that I would go to the show, but I might go to the show.
I think I'll go to a late one.
Okay. Well, I was thinking of the early one.
I got fam in town, and it's easy for me if they're all done.
Why are you late guy now? You're go to bed early guy, but also, hey, I see a Tom Green is in town, and I can't. It doesn't start till 11 o'clock. I'll go.
Tom Green, that one was a spur of the moment, very outside of the norm. Just felt like I had to do it.
Okay.
This one feels like it'd be good for the show.
Okay. Look
But,
at this guy doing stuff for the show.
What up? What?
What? I was about to tell you a little bit ago
Yeah, your
just
wife
about
or
a
something?
really good feeling I had yesterday.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. It's this. So We all have iPhones, right? This is not a Milwaukee Bucks situation, is it?
No,
We're all.
Oh no, no
we
green
got
bubbles.
we all got the
No.
blue.
Yeah.
Fawn Maker isn't here. No.
I don't know if. I think it just defaults this when you have a calendar alert. Like yesterday at 10 a.m., my calendar popped up and it said, "You have a show in studio tomorrow." So a 24-hour calendar alert. Then it'll give you another 2-hour one, right? Well, so last night, 7 p.m. or maybe it was 6 p.m., all of a sudden a calendar alert pops up. 24-hour calendar alert. Book club.
Oh.
And so now I have 24 hours to savor
That's a smart move.
the lead up to it,
Yeah.
because this has been ever since then. The Luka thing, I mean, that is what helped clear things up for me.
Sure.
Like, the Luka thing really has been. I'm very surprised at how this is affecting me in such a negative way. Like, if it's affecting me, I can't imagine how it is affecting DFW. My wife didn't learn about it until Monday.
How?
And then when she got home from work on Monday,
I'm-
she said, "Oh, now I know why you were whispering in the closet Sunday morning." Because Jake called,
Mm-hmm.
he said, "Text me when you get up."
I
And
need
so
to
I
talk.
was laying in bed, and then I see the news. And then I looked at my text and saw Jake said that. But then anyway, I'm laying in bed, and I texted him like, "Hey, I'm up." And he calls right away. And so I had to get up and whisper and talking in the closet. And then, we did a show that day, and I just told her the Mavs had a big trade. She's not really into sports and everything. But that's the thing about Luka, is that she did know Luka.
Yeah.
And she comes home Monday, and she's like, "Oh, my God." Now I'm reliving it again. And she goes, "He plays with such joy." Like, that's what she said. She goes, "He brings joy." Like, and that's the feeling of him. Like, there is no thing on the stat sheet. And I'm a guy who loves objective stats and a real, I don't really believe in mysticism. I don't believe, but where I don't believe in that, yet I also do believe emitting good kind of perhaps might help the odds that good comes back to you at some point. Or I don't know. So I'm not a big religious person, but I do somehow believe in some kind of hey, it's just an extra $1 I give on a tip or something. Like, I think that'll come back somewhere, maybe. And if it doesn't, well, then I made them feel good. And, that's what I tried to teach my kids as far as any religion goes. Like, I feel like that might. And even if it doesn't come back, it's going to give you a good feeling. Like, maybe you're donating to a charity, but maybe it's just for you. Okay, fine. And it just makes you feel better.
No, I'm with you. But even if you don't believe in that part.
He plays with joy and he brings joy.
That's the thing.
My wife, even just with highlights or some things she's watched, felt great joy because of this guy. And
This hurts.
because she knew him when she was 19, or he was 19, and we've seen him grow. And that's the whole thing here, fucking Nico.
It's I can't
This
stop
is
thinking
what
about how you don't understand this.
It isn't a title. I don't care. I don't care. If indeed you win 2 titles in a row now, but you didn't, the journey with this guy, that was part of it. Like, it's obviously you're going to have to make trades and additions and everything around him, but this is part of this wonderful story. I don't know, the Marlins aren't a real relevant thing these days, but back in the day, the Marlins would put together like a super team, and they'd sign a bunch of free agents in an offseason. All of a sudden, they win the World Series out of nowhere. And then they go back to being a 60-win team. Like, I don't know. And it was always a debate. Would you rather be the Braves, who are in the playoffs every year? Or would you rather be the Marlins, who were in once out of 10 years, but they win the World Series? I'd rather be the Mavs with Luka striving, failing, I'd rather do that than trade Luka for a piece. And You didn't even make a trade that really is going to make sense. It's not going to win the title this year. It will not happen.
Yeah, I was thinking about that part.
Just now, objectively, I just don't think actually that Anthony Davis. And this goes. I think I listened to a little more Ethan the other day. He was on. He mentioned us on his podcast.
Did
by
he?
the way, yeah. Said I was on the Dumb Zone earlier today. Sounded funny. But he even. What was he talking about? Oh, he was just talking about the Schefter analogy like he was with us. Schefter's was like, oh, it'd be like trading Lamar Jackson for Joe Burrow. That doesn't make sense. It is like trading Lamar Jackson for Tyreek Hill, maybe.
Yeah.
You know, a different position that is not as important as the position and older.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, so I'm going to play this real quick. I haven't even listened to it. This is always very smart. Isaac from LockedOnAndMavs.com just posted this. It's from the Hoop Collective. And
Okay, well, it's unlikely that what will happen last time you didn't listen to something will happen then.
It might be.
They
Because
don't
I think the
say the
Athletic
N-word.
reported this. They reported that one of the reasons why the Lakers were able to keep their second first-round pick is that the
Okay, he's going to say the exact part we know, right? That the reason that the this is the part I'm fixated on now, that the reason that they didn't get more, and you even look at the trades last night, like the Lakers go get Mark Williams from Charlotte.
They traded, like, they had a pick swap.
And Dalton Connect.
How about every possible pick swap? We do it.
Well, we can't. And obviously, this is the starkest, darkest part of this to me. The reason that they didn't get more was simply because they didn't want it getting out, and they didn't want it getting out because they knew how much the fans would revolt over it. That, to me, is a sinister element of this that makes it okay to be completely out. And think of the irony. The people that still want to ride with the Mavs, like, starting today, they don't even need any time to think about this. They're just like, I'm Mavs, it's AD, it's Kyrie, it's Clay, it's PJ, it's Lively, it's the boys. Those fans were actually deprived getting better players and better picks in return because they needed to be lied to. So you might not think a 2031 pick matters that much, but I promise you, when your roster is built around 32, 34, and 35-year-olds, you need picks to trade now. They're worthless to you as picks, but you are a team that needs to be throwing everything at the wall, except Luka, to try to win now. But that's even speeded up because their players now are old. So the very fans that are going to stick around and support this team got less in their portfolio of things to root for because they actively needed to be lied to. The part where it's being reported that Nico actually acknowledged how bad this would be for the fans, and that's why they couldn't let it get out, and that's why they couldn't get more, that part sealed the deal for me. That part right there, now I don't think they understood how bad it would be, but they at least had some understanding of no one in the world can know about this, because if they do, we won't be able to do it. And anytime you're doing something like that to your base, your customer, whatever, fuck you. It's okay if everybody's out at that point. It's not just that he's bewildered that Dallas loved Luka. It's that he understood, knew that if you found out, you'd stop it, so he lied to you by act of omission.
He's eventually going to get fired. He'll go to his lake house or his beach house or whatever, one of his houses.
Yeah, he don't care. He will,
and he'll just be like, oh.
Somebody said
boy,
something to me. Well,
didn't do well there.
I'll save it for viewer mail because we have a lot of Luka and viewer mail. The only other thing I would mention on the Luka front, well, actually, there's a lot. Let's get into the press conference.
Okay.
We could do hours on this.
Yeah. What do you want to?
Yeah,
I watched the press conference. It's incredibly angering and then sad.
Yeah. And maybe today we'll try to just do Luka. And did you have it queued up there?
Before I start talking about the young man next to me, I want to thank
Turn up a little bit.
Jalen.
Let's skip to that first mark I gave you, if you don't mind. So Luka's sitting there, and he just looks
for their incredible service.
dead.
There's no player that
Are we able to go to 305?
bigger role to our Shanghai.
We're working things out, folks.
That's all right.
It's all good.
The second person I want to thank is anytime there's a trade or a transaction, there has to be a partner. And I want to thank the Dallas Mavericks, led by their GM, Nico Harrison, who was also very instrumental in
you pause
bringing this opportunity.
Yes, this is where I start getting mad.
I was gonna say I cut out like the first 2 minutes because it's BS, but
He
as soon
does
as
look just like Rob Lowe.
It's shocking.
Like I'm a bit getting a little hot here. He's hot.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm starting to get mad. And then as he talks here, what he's doing here is he's trying to keep it classy because he knows I got to make other trades with other people. And I cannot do a touchdown dance. I cannot spike the ball. I have to act like I've been here before. I'm going to drop the ball and go right to the sideline, and there's going to be no celebration.
He can't say, honestly, when I got the call, I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, like Jesus Christ.
He can't say that.
The only thing I could do was, no one would ever make this call. Not one other GM would have said, what do you think about Luka? Like inside, like this is what we train for. This is calm the breathing. Don't show anything. Don't get excited. Just kind of act like what?
Maybe hit mute for like 3 seconds.
Yeah, just
collect yourself.
But you wouldn't think it was real.
That's what I mean. That's why initially he did go, you're joking.
Yeah.
And then, no. And he's like, I don't know. Interesting.
Yeah, then what's the motive?
I don't know. Yeah, and then I'm sure that's when they start doing their due diligence. They talk to a million people that were not him, I'm sure, just to be like,
what are we missing?
It's the anterior cruciate ligament, whatever they,
It's like us in court.
Yeah, like
how we go every day. Like, God, they gotta have something. Like, are we missing?
Are you sure there's no? Where's the surprise thing?
Yeah.
Oh, he showed up at 260.
Like that's the thing. The thing is, he is a bit overweight. He does not eat correctly. He's not LeBron, like as far as or Tom Brady or whatever. So imagine how good he'll be if he does kind of start doing those. Like he's already
would have.
Like let's go look at Jokic. There's a guy that's not grinding in the weight room, that's not chiseled, that's not like, and I bet as a younger player, there's some thoughts on that. Like, is this guy in the gym? Is he a gym rat? Does he even care? Not, I mean, he wants to fly right home after the season. Like, he doesn't even want. Well, and then he kept doing that. Like, he didn't want to go to the parade after he won the championship. But Luka, you've never thought that of like.
But his weight and his conditioning was just an extension of the real problem for Nico, was that Luka was a diva that he did not want to deal with anymore.
Yeah, that Nico thought he was a diva.
That's what. Yeah,
the problem is that one, even if he is, who cares? You're in the finals, and two, you can't have this situation where everyone else who played with him is like, guy busts his ass. He plays hurt, goes 40 minutes a night in the playoffs, Wall hurt. You can't have all the other players. You know what? Let's do some of those. Is it?
No. Well, continue with this.
I know we were just talking about the other players.
Oh, all right. Well, whatever. Yeah, I want to get back to this though.
I do want to. What do we do? What do you think, Clayton? Let's just roll with the press conference and just keep playing that answer when you can.
All right.
Because I do think listening to those guys is interesting.
Good morning. Before I start talking about the
It's okay.
young man next to me, first.
To you in Slovenian.
And then staying true to the negotiations throughout where it could be culminated with the trade
Nico.
being finalized and Luka Doncic, Maxi Kleber, and Markieff Morris becoming members of our team. So wanted to thank those two people.
Hey, thanks.
And now we'll start with questions.
Yeah.
Wait, go back to.
He's thanking Jeannie Buss and Nico Harrison.
I want to hear the Nico thank you.
That was it. I mean, it's just basically, that he kept it quiet, that Nico's a pro, blah, blah, blah.
Can you get to the very start of it again?
Partner. And I want to thank the Dallas Mavericks, led by their GM, Nico Harrison, who was also very instrumental in bringing this opportunity to us and then staying true to the negotiations throughout where it could be culminated with the trade being finalized and Luka Doncic, Maxi Kleber, and Markieff Morris becoming members of our team.
Yeah, I have to remember those other guys. Pause it. So, yes, staying true to the negotiations. Like, yeah.
Just knowing that he the Lakers could not offer what Doncic is really worth. Somebody would have spilt 10 firsts. There's no telling. Lakers
trade.
didn't have that, so Rob didn't want that getting out.
And even if that might not have been as well. We can debate whether even they're set up to win now. I don't really think they are. But at least you would have some thought of at least you've got the biggest haul in NBA history in a trade.
Yeah, but that
I would still be pissed, and they're probably still out.
Yeah, but that would never happen because Nico's not trying to win in a few years. He literally thinks they can win now if they get rid of the cancer that was Luka Doncic.
But again, if they win now,
I won't care.
I was also thinking this is kind of like because I'm watching the OJ documentary every night. OJ won the trial.
People forget.
Yeah. So if the Mavs win it all, it'll be like OJ winning not guilty.
Okay.
Like people will be like, yes, you still killed.
You're going to have to wear it.
These people.
Yeah.
So, yes, they could officially win. Like, it's so sad to even think like this, but
it's true.
He brought joy.
So you guys are completely out on the team this year?
Yeah.
Because I watched the game.
Oh, I think they'll be good.
Well,
but I'm out on it. I don't care.
Yeah, but I feel for them as people.
I
mean, they had nothing to do with this.
Yeah.
No.
Well,
before the trade, we were all about PJ Washington.
If they fire Nico today, I'm back.
I know, but we're
or at least kind of.
We're punishing these athletes because they were next.
Sorry, guys.
No, it sucks, and I don't like it. And I love rooting for Kyrie. I love PJ. I love all of them. They're a fun group. And if fans want to go, like I know Saturday people are gonna like have kind of a rally outside, but then you go inside. You want to cheer for the team? Do it. That Lakers game on 4-9 that I'm going to go to, like I want to cheer for the Mavs, but I'm also going to chant fire Nico, sell the team, and I'm going to chant MVP every time Luka touches the ball. They get it, dude. You think they don't know? They know. They know because they work there like everyone else. They know it's not about being them. They get it.
Yeah, I guess I go back to when you guys left the ticket. And when people were getting mad at the people on the ticket, they had nothing to do with it. You can support both. You can be all for Luka and still enjoy what you enjoyed for your entire life.
Everybody's got to make their own personal decision. That's where I am right now. Do we have the ability to play it from where we were, or is it going to go to the start? All right.
Wanted to thank those two people.
Perfect.
Good morning.
Okay, so we have like a program issue. All right, then go to the one at 8 minutes.
Young man next to me,
You guys, first for you, Luka. I guess introduce this trade idea to Jeannie, and what was her initial reaction when you told her about it?
Yeah, so this all started
pause
with
it, keep it here, and don't take it off this.
We can't.
Just don't take it off this, and we'll be fine, I think.
Okay.
The point is, what was her reaction?
Yeah.
Holy.
Yeah.
Nuh-uh. There's absolutely no way, and he's going to downplay this.
Yeah.
But she's like, no, there is absolutely zero way this is true. What are you saying?
Well, she said we need to do our due diligence. Yeah.
Go ahead.
In Dallas, where Nico approached us with the concept, and because there was a partnership and a history of travel in the world between Nico and myself working around Kobe Bryant, there was a fabric of trust in the discussions. And these type of deals are incredibly intricate and complicated.
Well, you
and
fucked
along
your
the
friend,
way,
bro.
We knew there would be 248 insurmountable snags to get to the end, and there were.
Okay.
And so over the course of,
that's all I needed. That one really, really set me off because he's probably right. This is there's a lot going on here with contracts, with making salaries match. Hey, we got to call Danny Ainge. We always know he's horny to get involved with some second-round picks. And at every single snag, Nico had the opportunity to be like, man, I don't know. Like, I feel like this might not be good. This is not – it almost would make more sense if it happened like the night before. This started – before he got hurt on Christmas Day.
To be able to think about this for a month?
Yeah, like if he got hurt on Christmas Day and they traded him the next day, it'd be like, what? I guess, like, they just sort of like, we're done with him being hurt. This was when Luka was returned, was playing at MVP level. They were turning into a 60-win team based on their healthy win-loss record. And Rob Pelinka's keep hitting these snags, and Nico's hitting these snags. And Nico's like, we'll do whatever we got to do to trade Luka Doncic to you.
Right.
Like there were snags.
Oh,
he's like, I don't care. I'm determined.
I can't have 2 firsts. All right. Well, what if we give you a second? Like, wait, no.
Yeah. They had to chip in some money.
How about call every NBA team and get me, I need 12 seconds in this deal. Just do something to make it look like something. Not Anthony Davis.
I just thought it was funny that Pelinka's like, this was really hard to do, which makes it so much worse.
It was hard for Pelinka, and Pelinka had to be like, look, dude, we're really good friends. Remember traveling with Kobe and stuff? You got to keep it quiet. I wouldn't even tell your basketball analytics people.
Dude, I saw a guy on Twitter, one of the funniest. I was so mad I didn't come up with this. And he was like, every single report about Pelinka and Nico Harrison make it sound like Pelinka was grooming Nico. And he's like, hey, this is just our deal, buddy.
Yeah, that's
we have a fun time together, don't we?
I mean, if you start talking about it, then what if this deal doesn't get done?
Probably also no one will believe you.
Wouldn't that be terrible?
This is too wild. No one's going to believe you, little buddy.
No one will believe you that you're getting such a great haul.
Why not?
Like, look, I mean, I know I'm bending over and I'm taking it, for the team, but I mean, I don't know, man. He's fat. He drinks all the time.
Yeah.
He's out of shape.
He hadn't won a finals yet.
He hasn't won a finals.
AD has. AD's got a ring.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know, the culture that he could bring to your locker room.
Championship.
I mean, that's the kind of thing. You want this guy who just kind of does whatever he wants?
Hey, there's something else, too. You know who didn't draft Anthony Davis? Mark Cuban. What does that do for you? All right.
This will be your team.
So then the last one, Clayton, is the one that's at 14 or 15 or something like that.
Just where Luka. I'd like to hear Luka start talking.
Yeah, he's in. You can just play it.
Many legends pass here, many championships.
So a lot of it's just talking about the Lakers.
Yeah, let's hear.
Luka, Brad Townsend, Dallas Morning News. So you wrote a Dear Dallas letter to fans that was, very heartfelt, and you talked a little bit about, your shock. How are your feelings toward the upper levels of the organization, Nico in particular, or the decision to trade you?
Well, that's their decision, so I have no comment on that. They made the decision. I don't know why. But that's their decision, so I can't do nothing about it.
And then
pause it. That made me so sad.
Yeah, I know.
Just the way and maybe it's his inflection, his soft talk, but he's a kid. And I don't know. I don't know why they did it. I don't know why. That's their. And it's a soft landing zone. Like, this is a terrible thing. I actually wanted to go back to when he first started talking about, like, when he learned about the trade and, like, it stunned him.
Yeah, let's switch to audio and I'll see what I can do.
And he was so taken aback, and this was a hard thing for him. And, like, even today, or this day that he's doing this press conference, he's shocked and he's trying to take it all in. And it's a soft landing because you got, he makes $70 million a year, and he's not going to Memphis. He's, he's going to, like, the basketball capital of the world type thing. But it makes me so much more sad to even know, even with all that.
He's sad. Like, I'm telling you, you're going to the Yankee. You're going to the best thing ever. It's going to be so great for your, global brand and all. But he still was sad. Yeah.
Because he knew, too. It's a different thing if you're building something than if you kind of come in on someone else's thing. And now he's on LeBron's, and I know it's like cool bridge now, Kareem and Magic and LeBron or Kobe, LeBron, now you, like,
it's not
that's
same.
Cool, but it's I kind of think in his head it was really cool for him to go from the greatest Euro to take that baton and then continue that.
Yeah, and I'm
here.
not saying he would have given us 21 years, but he was bought in on that.
Yeah, I think he was bought in on the statue next to that statue.
Loyalty never fades.
And I think there should absolutely be a Luka statue here in Dallas still.
I'm going to play a little bit of audio here, Blake. Is that cool?
I'm sorry. What's your reaction to seeing all of us here to welcome you to Los Angeles?
Well, first of all, it's very nice. There's a lot of people here. I don't think there's ever been so many people in my press conference.
He sounds like a little baby.
I really appreciate all the support.
Luka, welcome to Los Angeles. I'm curious, what's your reaction been the last 48 hours to some of the comments coming from Dallas on your way out the door to join the Lakers?
I'm just excited, to be here to start this new journey, and obviously at some point I knew this was going to happen, but I would say I always take the high road. I had my amazing moments in Dallas with all my teammates, coaches, and most importantly, the fans. They always supported me, and it was an amazing journey.
I don't think people are focusing on that part enough, and I do acknowledge that there's a language barrier. Right? It's like when we played the Kristaps clip the other day, and he's like, "Some baskets I have to use meat." But him saying, "I always knew this could happen or would happen," I'm trying to parse out in my mind, is he just saying, as a pro athlete, I always knew there's a chance you can get traded? Or is he saying, I knew Nico was kind of a piece of shit and he had it out for me, and I knew that this could happen?
Luka, welcome to Los Angeles.
Same question.
I'm curious, what's your reaction been the last 48 hours to some of the comments coming from Dallas on your way out the door to join the Lakers?
I'm just excited, to be here to start this new journey, and obviously at some point I knew this was going to happen, but I would say I always take the high road.
At some point I knew this was going to happen.
And that
You're
could
right.
just be
Could
like
be tense of verb and
right, and him just saying like, "Yeah, I'm a pro athlete," like that you get traded. But it was still a weird way to put it. And then to follow up that Brad one, here's obviously the absolute heartbreaker.
And I was trying to stay by that. But this, I would say, like you said, I thought I was going to spend my whole career there because I think loyalty is a big word for me, and I was trying to stay by that. But this for me is a fresh start. I get to play in LA. The fans are amazing, and I got the ocean here, so it's a really big thing for me. But really, I'm really excited to be here. I getting to play for the Lakers, and everybody can say that. And many, many legends pass here, many, many championships. So that's my goal. But
now it's easier for him to justify and make himself feel better. Because, you are in L.A., you are this, that, but it's impossible for us.
Yeah. Here's his.
But for him to, what did he say there that made me die?
Loyalty.
Luka, Brad Townsend, Dallas.
I'll back it up a little
big thing for me. But really, I'm really excited to be here. Yeah, I would say, like you said, I thought I was going to spend my whole career there.
Ouch.
Because I think loyalty is a big word for me.
Ouch.
Did we talk about this off the air or on the air? I can't remember, but just the whole thought that the Euro athlete
we talked about it.
Does seem to be more apt to be loyal to the town that they go to. And I think I've heard others talk about the fact also, and maybe it was Ethan piggybacking on your AAU versus Euro thing. But the thought, too, is that these AAU guys have been friends forever because they've run into each other all, when they were teenagers and everything coming up. And they develop friendships, and then they want to
team up
and go on. But Luka doesn't have that,
I mean, the biggest speculation we've
that.
ever had is like, what if him and Jokic decide Denver, Dallas, wherever? That's it.
Yeah.
And frankly, that was always a problem with Dirk. Because people be like, why couldn't the Mavs get a free agent? It's like, because nobody hangs out with Dirk.
But then then it seemed to be easy to recruit here because Luka makes other players better.
Right.
Like, he makes their stats better. He makes them get paid more.
It's happened time and time again. Here's the ender.
But that's their decision, so I can't do nothing about it.
And then one of the reasons that was given was that there was concern that, beyond this summer, or that there's a chance you might not agree to the Supermax extension. Did you or anyone on your inner circle indicate that might be the case?
Absolutely not.
He said something like his easy decision or easy as could be. And he looks bummed when he says that. He knows he just lost all this money. So, anyway.
That's another thing. Yeah, this is going to hurt the Mavericks.
Oh, yeah.
Because also you did this and you cost him that $100 million. Had you signed him to that and then traded him,
which would have been easy
for a haul, yes. But other players will see that, boy, you dicked him out of that.
It's great.
Like, you dream to draft a guy. Again, there's a difference in a year you draft LeBron or that you draft
Anthony Bennett.
Yeah, the Cavs got the number 1 overall pick then.
Yeah.
Even if you draft Kyrie, really good. But that's not Luka or LeBron or Jokic or Giannis, or there's just certain guys, or Steph became that, there's certain guys that become the thing. And Luka is one of those very few certain guys. You dream of that. Man, if I could only draft one of those guys. And the laughingstock of the NBA, I think I even saw this. Somebody wrote that other GMs have been fired because they didn't draft Luka and they had the opportunity to. The Suns GM had the opportunity to draft Luka and didn't.
Yeah.
The Sacramento.
Waddy's gone.
The Atlanta guys traded
Schlink
the pick away.
Yeah.
Now, and that was like because he was an unknown. You weren't really sure. It's, the guy who drafted who was that? I know Olajuwon was, but there was another guy drafted before Jordan too, like a tall man in.
Yeah, not Ralph's.
In Portland, I think.
Was
it Sam Bowie?
I think so.
Maybe Sam Bowie. I'm sure that guy ended up getting fired. The point is, though, what if you traded Jordan to Portland for Sam Bowie after his 3rd year? Like, after the
it would even be
taking the NBA by
finals.
storm.
After you've been to the finals, you'd have to even it's insane.
There's no comp. It still doesn't make sense, and it still just makes me so
to spin it
sad
forward a little bit,
angry slash.
Because I don't want to talk about Luka tomorrow. There's a guy I'm trying to book that hopefully we can talk to next week. He wrote an interesting article on Substack that Ethan retweeted. It's a guy who actually worked in the Mavericks front office for 3 years. He had a 1-year overlap with Nico. And I want to talk to him about his article next week. But just to put it in super Cliff Notes terms, the guy early in Luka's career was trying to get the front office to trade Luka. Because he said that, if his counting stats are crazy, but if you look at his defense and this and that his statistical model was like, you'll never win in the playoffs with this guy. He cannot win in the playoffs with this style of basketball. And he would push hard for it, and it was his understanding, as we all know, there is no chance in hell Mark Cuban is ever trading this guy, no matter what his quants and his basketball ops people tell him. So this is a guy who objectively looked at the data and was like, you should trade Luka now. His value is never going to be higher. And even he says, over the next couple of years, I kind of came around, which, of course, why don't you just wait to see if the guy gets better before you want to trade him?
Yeah.
And then over the next few years, Luka got better on defense.
But he was evaluating everything by the numbers and the numbers only.
The numbers only, and the deeper numbers.
Cuban actually
was on vibes a little bit.
Yeah.
But even that guy looked at it over the last couple of years and thought, he's shored up the things that he was bad at. Yeah. It feels like Nico was trading on a 2019 profile of Luka. All the stuff that he's saying now, Nico, or that's coming out, that's all the stuff I was hearing before they drafted Luka. like Damaris and I would be sitting there waiting for a post game when the Mavericks are on a Tuesday night getting beat by 50 in a 50-loss season. He's like, I've heard about this kid in Slovenia. They're worried he parties. And I'm like, you're talking about this 17-year-old who lives in Madrid? Not too worried about it right now. And Luka was that guy. And then he was in the league for like 5-6 years, going to the playoffs, going to the title. And Nico's like, I don't know. I see an immature 17-year-old. So that, and then I wanted to play two other from Lakers Media Day. Let's start with Dorian, who's a top 10 Mav, top 5 Mav for me, just from fan love standpoint. Love watching LD and Dorian, and I thought this Dorian clip was funny. Won't play? Okay. Okay. It's all good. We're kind of going through it today. So what would I do? I guess I will. Yeah, I can just play the audio here.
I know him, man. He want to play the whole game. I think he played like 40 minutes every game last playoff. So that's one thing about LD. He a hooper. He want to play. So I don't really look at the noise. I look at his production, and he produces. So shit. If I'm putting up them type of numbers, maybe I need to be 270.
I just love him. And then Markieff Morris, who, in a limited role, he was like the room guy here. I grew to like him a little bit as well.
Markieff, there's been a lot of negative things said about Luka in the last couple of days. What is your reaction to some of that stuff, having been his teammate?
It's a great guy, man. Super low maintenance, don't need much. One of the only guys that I've been on the team with that will play through any injury if he can get on the court. I hear stuff about him not being in shape, but if you can go in an NBA game and get 30, 15, and 10 like it's nothing, then I don't really know what shape is. I'm confused at that part, but yeah, and you'll see it really soon. You'll make the suggestion if he's in shape or not.
So yeah, there's just two guys that are like, I don't know what he does, but I know in the playoffs, he. And here's another thing a listener pointed out to me that I forgot about, because Anthony Edwards, I guess they asked him about this, and he's sitting down and did like a 1-minute interview, and he's like, "This is insane."
Yeah.
And
I saw that.
Yeah, at the end of it, he's like, shit, I don't know if we're playing April 9th or not. He's like, but whenever the Lakers go to Dallas, he's like, I want to buy front row courtside seats for that.
Yeah.
You know what people forget about being out of shape? Kyrie's 32-year-old busted Anthony Edwards' ass in the playoffs last year because Anthony Edwards was tired. Do you remember how tired Anthony Edwards was? And Luka and Kyrie just kept handing him the work, and Kevin Harlan's like, Anthony Edwards, hands on his legs in the second quarter. He's not in shape. You would never trade him. That guy had to bow out of the playoffs. The next Jordan. Insanity. Let's do something else.
The Thursday viewer mail follow-up extravaganza inclement fossil thing.
Now it's going to be brought to you by One Day Doors and Closets.
Heck yeah.
onedaytexas.com/promo30 means if you use that promo code, you will buy one, get one free on doors.
Talking about a BOGO door?
I'm talking BOGO, bruv.
Let me tell you something. So I told you we just we did some remodeling to the house, and this is before I knew about One Day Doors and Closets, but they had to replace some doors.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, it's the biggest upgrade in the house. I'm like, why didn't we just do the doors? You get a new door, maybe change the color. It's perfectly open and closing. It will make you feel like you've remodeled your house.
Walk around your house right now and look at your shitty doors.
Just be like, that door sucks. I should check out onedaytexas.com/promo30. They're factory painted. You're going to get 30 to 50% savings compared to a big box store. Hinged, bifold, sliding. These are the door people. They use their advanced 3D measuring technology. They make a digital blueprint.
3D?
3D.
Damn.
I know. onedaytexas.com/promo30 for One Day Doors and Closets. Oh, jeez.
Sorry.
I haven't eaten today.
Oh, yeah, wait a minute, Uncle Hotmail.
Speaking of viewer mail, just want to note, no ice in the water today.
Ooh, who's reading the comments?
They're right.
Look at this guy.
Trying to super serve our customers, unlike someone in town.
I got some snail mail to the den the other day.
Look at that.
This is from Neelay, who says, Dear Uncle Slit Fister, is this a new one? Jake and Blake. It was great to meet y'all and hang out in Amarillo on your trip to Oxnard.
Nice.
Dr. Neelay.
Mm-hmm.
Is he a doctor?
Mm-hmm.
Like a real one or
like a Joe Biden
A
one?
book doctor?
No, he's a real one.
Okay. Let's see. Oh, Jake, if I had known you're on your way to rock bottom with the bottle, I would not have brought the beers. Oh. Anyway, he sent something for each of us. Let me, here, can you reach over and grab this?
Yep. Very excited about this.
He says, thanks, Jake, for carrying the banner of 90s country for people our age and for understanding the greatness that is Garth Brooks, especially
sir.
the In Pieces album. I sent you vinyl copies of In Pieces and Mac Miller's NPR Tiny Desk recording.
Wow, that's great.
The greatest Tiny Desk ever done.
Insert something here about your bravery in recovery and Mac being a cautionary tale.
Look at that album cover.
I have a shirt that's simply made from this album cover.
Blake, I sent you the Cartel Trilogy by Don Winslow.
Okay.
So I don't know what this is, but this is the these are 3 big books, Blake.
Oh,
and they
yeah.
look like they're for men, so I don't know if you'll like them or not. There's a bunch of books
I've heard
for
of
you.
this guy.
And he has sent me a little poster that will go up here in our studio. I probably don't have to tell everybody that looks at it what this is, of course, but
Nice.
it's the boys.
Stylized as NWA.
Yeah, the boys.
Still going?
The final season is filming now. It's pretty exciting. I don't want to hear any spoilers, so thank you.
Okay.
Will in Richmond says, enjoyed Jake's story Friday about the Hitler-loving UFC fighter in his podcast. But I think y'all moved on a bit too quickly when Blake started flexing all his obscure Bible conspiracy knowledge about giants and stuff. Can we please revisit?
Agreed.
I think I tapped out all I knew.
What was that you told us the other day?
Just about the Nephilim and the Lost Book of Enoch. That's about it. And I said all I knew.
There's books that aren't in the Bible.
Yeah.
And you know this?
Yeah, Enoch was one of the 2 men in the Bible that didn't die. And he might come back in Revelation because everyone has to die.
And because it's good for ratings.
But like the fighter said, this is for a whole nother podcast.
What's the one I always hear about? The one about a lady. Is it a Mary Magdalene book?
Maybe. We're trying to cover up Jesus' wife.
There's a lot of that going on, it does appear.
Trying to cover her up?
Yeah. That's another one that Jesus was married to Mary Magdalene.
All right.
But yeah, I don't know.
The Gospel of Mary.
Can't have a gospel of a female.
Kyle Easton writes, I know it's a ridiculous long shot, but could the Luka trade be a prank? What are the odds that this would be occurring and then suddenly he's involved in the craziest trade in NBA history? So he sent me a link. This is a link to an article that says Anthony Davis set to host a new prank TV show rivaling Impractical Jokers.
Impossible.
This is why Dan hates the trade.
Immediately following the NBA All-Star Game on Sunday, February 16th on TBS, this half-hour special promises to deliver a unique blend of humor and athleticism, which I've always said when I'm watching my stand-up, I'm like...
This guy doesn't look like he could...
Jeremy Piven probably can't dunk.
Could Seinfeld dribble between his legs.
Right.
Can Shane Gillis
set the edge?
Yeah. Can he hit a curveball? Like I've never really but this show will offer a unique blend of humor and athleticism. It's a show called Foul Play.
That's
says
awesome,
here,
man.
similar to Impractical Jokers, but with athletes. So, not funny.
Right. Even less funny. Jacob sends this in, and this really hit me. He said, I just had this awful vision of Nico in the future ESPN 30 for 30 doing his stupid fucking laugh when he talks about the trade and how it failed miserably. Quote, well, I took a risk and it just didn't pan out. I guess I'm not much of a fan favorite in Dallas.
Yeah.
And I just wrote back, this is going to happen. And I want a lot of footage from April 9th when we're at the Lakers game that day. And speaking of that, you know the guy who gave Blake and who gave me tickets to the Lakers game? He was a sit-in. Blake took Brooks, Will. He has been sending me emails about he's a man of leisure, and he was in Whitefish, Montana to visit family, which means they're either very well off or they're white supremacists. Phil Jackson has a place up there, as does Michael Jordan. And this guy and a couple of his buddies emailed me and said they went to go golf up there in Whitefish this summer, and they saw Nico and Kid together. And they told the guys in the club that they were like hanging out with that day, like the guys just who were there and met him, that they were going to go meet with Phil. And it's probably not a conversation for today, but we should at least talk about, did Kid know and was he on board? I've had some people tell me he definitely did and was, and some of those people are fairly well positioned to know. And then the others are, you look at the press conference and Kid looks like, you know, his family just got murdered. So we do need to talk about that.
I think he was. I got to think there's no way he makes this trade without at least running it by him.
You would think so, but my point is just we've gone back and forth on they're a package deal. Actually, they don't get along. They're trading for this guy he doesn't want. They're signing this guy he doesn't want. And I'm just telling you that two different people were like, hey, we saw those guys golfing on vacation together in Whitefish this summer, and they were meeting with Zen Master.
I was actually thinking about Phil Jackson last night in the sense that because I think somebody else wrote something like, hey, this kid's frontal cortex something isn't even fully developed, something like that. You know, they talk about 25-year-olds, 25-year-olds.
For males, yeah.
Like you're still becoming who you are. And just thinking about the Jordan journey as well. And they were doing pretty well. They were going to the playoffs. They were winning games. But it was decided I need to get rid of this coach because I need a coach that will get the best out of this. This is the unique thing I have here. There are lots and lots of coaches and pieces I can put around this unique thing, but I've realized now I have this Jordan thing that's incredible. I mean, credit to Crumbs, Jerry Krause, for knowing that at least.
Yeah.
And that was in my head of, well, would there ever have been a chance that Nico would have said, you know what, gosh, Kid, this is all falling on deaf ears. But he needs his guy that's going to give him a book. He needs his guy that's going to, and Kid isn't that guy. Like, is there ever a chance he would have said Kid isn't that guy?
No.
He picked, and this is an age-old thing in sports. Like, all coaches know, look, they're going to get rid of me over. Rick Carlisle knew. I'm expendable when it comes to me versus this guy. Well, I think, you see, Luka's first game is going to be Saturday against Indiana.
That's awesome.
They flexed that.
That's why. Okay, I saw the game was getting flexed.
They flexed that to ESPN. It's because Luka is going to play, and it's going to be against Carlisle.
Awesome.
So I'll be interested to hear Carlisle's.
It's all very sick
take on this, but I was thinking a lot about Phil Jackson just because, like, would that have been an option? Like, hey, I've tried this, we've tried this. So I know I tried firing or getting rid of everybody that was close to Luka. Somehow that didn't make him really want to listen to me more. That's weird. So I, dear Prince of Punjab, thank you for getting me through the week. I had to make the decision to put down my dog of 10 years and had to confront the fact that I was much sadder about Luka.
Yeah.
Never punt from Sam.
That's a good one. I got a number of emails on Ethan. Ethan riles the people up. It's just how it goes. He definitely has some provocative positions and opinions over the years, and I don't agree with a lot of them. But I never question that he believes them. Whereas, like, it's not like Skip, you know?
Yeah.
You're just saying that. And it was the part of talking about, like, DEI, and that is a tricky thing because it does. This guy put it as, this is overly dramatic, but giving oxygen to these bullshit DEI arguments is the type of shit that lets people give themselves permission to vote for the white supremacists currently taking a blowtorch to the Constitution, and that just sucks. But this point was like, Strauss acknowledged that Nico was hired as GM, but Cuban was running the show, so while his title was inflated, there was no evidence that he was unqualified to be a relationship recruiter under Cuban. To the contrary, it seems most of the moves he made in that framework were successful. His tenure under Cuban doesn't suggest he was unqualified for the job. Strauss suggested he was hired via the Peter Principle. If the Peter Principle applies, he was competent in his prior role, so how does DEI apply at all to this? And I think the main thing for me was just, one, we're just talking. Just trying to talk and think this out. I think the scent thing is really where it starts. You know? Like, they did hire her
There's
because
no
she was
doubt.
a black woman.
But yeah.
For years, the reason you need these things, as clunky as they are, is that no one else was going to get hired. Like, it was just white guys.
No, you even said that when talking to Ethan, and that was a good point, I thought. Great point.
Hey, thanks.
There are many people who are very good at their job who might have been hired because of a DEI type thing, but you don't hear about that.
Right.
Like, or might have actually even just gotten in the door because there was a DEI thing in place.
Yeah.
Yes, scent is a way different deal. And I think Ethan was just kind of like, hey, I'm just talking here. Was it? You know, had Pants DJ not happened, is Nico, who knows?
Luka's still a Mav.
I do think it's interesting Nico was brought in to kind of save relationships or bring in relationships. And I thought the Caleb Martin trade was telling because he shipped out Grimes, who was approaching an expiring deal. He wanted some
return.
And the Luka thing kind of started with I don't know if we want to pay him the Supermax. So Nico is sending out these guys that he's afraid he's not going to be able to retain when he was brought in to retain guys like that.
That's a good point. Yeah.
The whole reason
hey, you're the cool guy. Why are you
You're the
flaming
relationships
everything?
guy.
Yeah.
You're the get the guys in here or keep guys in here. And you're shipping away people because you're afraid you can't.
I got another quick one here. A little suspect for me to even introduce this, but it's out there, so we have to talk about it. Luka's contract has a player option in the 26-27 season. It isn't a foregone conclusion that he will sign with the Lakers. Let's say Luka denies that option. The Mavs have already fired Nico. Lack of playoff success, general public hate. Luka comes home to a place he loves.
Don't rule it out.
Prerequisite is firing Nico.
Oh, without a doubt. Yeah.
But I do believe I have talked myself into a LeBron, I'm coming home type thing at some point. Maybe it's after he wins a couple titles elsewhere. And
I still think you're hot, baby.
Yeah, you know.
Do you have any more Luka ones? Because I'm done with Luka ones if you want to.
I'm done with Luka. Let's do I got a couple on
I got one before.
One more Luka?
No, before Gummy Thoughts.
Hit me.
I'm going to keep this anonymous. I've been listening. It says, hey, guys, I've been listening and noticing there have been plenty of chatter about desperate jerking off situations from the past, most notably Blake buying a DVD hoping for a non-edited version to beat it to. I think you'll need a segment called Bad Beats, where anyone can provide some of their worst beat-off stories from the past. We all have them. For example, and throw up that image, Clayton, like squeezing one out to an Alicia Silverstone Batgirl commemorative cup.
That's from my past, right there. Right there.
And I think this has legs.
Of course
I
it does.
kind of like
It's genius.
the Bad Beats segment.
Yeah. Of course.
There's a demographic thing there, right? Nowadays, that just doesn't occur.
No.
What do you mean?
But I think our demo is
Just you as a kid
this era.
might have had to search for some things. Now it's just so readily available.
Yeah, but also there's other stories too where, you could be somebody who has readily has access to material, but you use shampoo one time. It doesn't work well.
It's
or you got
really
caught,
dries
or-
everything out.
Yeah.
So I hear.
So it can be any sort of bad beat. I
don't know. I'm kind of against it because I also don't like guys just
talking about.
I think that's what ladies think guys sit and talk about.
Well, what I don't like is guys talking about ladies. I don't like when a guy comes in, he's like, "You're not going to believe what I got her to do last night." That is patently disgusting to me.
What did she do?
But a guy talking about like a struggle beat.
Right. Misery
doesn't-
loves company.
I like
If
that.
you're down bad, I wouldn't mind hearing about it. And we can filter it out. And we don't have to do it. But I thought that was a good email.
So within viewer mail, or whatever we call this, I can't remember
The Thursday viewer mail follow-up extravaganza inclement fossil thing.
We do get some gummy thought viewer mails, and that's brought to you by CBD. Early Bird CBD, not just all CBD.
No.
But Early Bird CBD is that gummy that we like or the CBD like we like because it has THC.
Real deal.
So
how,
like
many
if
how many millis?
2.5er.
All right, good.
2.5 of natural THC, 12.5 of CBD in each gummy. So it's a microdose of THC. And I'm saying this for me, everybody's different. You can have two of them.
Yeah, for sure. Start with one.
Take the edge off. Look, the Luka thing, I'll give you 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Is
it's
there
got THC. If you get drug tested at work, this is not your gummy, but it's ours.
So that's going to bring you gummy thoughts. I'm going to go to Early Bird CBD. Any kind of disky?
I wish I had that copy in front of me.
Dumb Zone.
You tell me.
Dumb Zone.
Oh, Dumb Zone is the code?
That's your disky code.
All right. I don't like it.
I heard disky the other day.
I don't like it.
And I loved it.
I do not like
20% off Early Bird CBD. Gummy thoughts, hit me.
So earlybirdcbd.com?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Fuhrer of the Finger Bang. I let this go the first time. But the follow-up on small insects falling off tables was even dumber than the original. It has nothing to do with the density of ants and geckos. A person and an ant falling off the table are traveling at the same speed when they hit the ground. Since the distance isn't very much, the person and the ant aren't traveling very fast and don't get hurt. A person or an ant falling off the Empire State Building will have a long distance to accelerate faster and faster and splat on the ground.
Boring.
Also, terminal velocity is not how far you fall for it to be terminal or deadly. It's the fastest speed you can fall. Yeah, you're right. Now I'm bored. If you don't want experts and continue to live up to the Dumb Zone name, I hope. Anyway, I don't think this guy is really catching what we're saying, though. Yes, if we all fall, the ant that falls off a table.
He's going to keep going. You're going to get a third email.
That is like 100 times the length of an ant. If we fell off something that was 100 times our height, we would die, and the ant doesn't. That's what I'm talking about, bro.
Somebody's reading the comments. Battle this guy.
And I got one more gummy one.
Okay.
I'd like to be the 3,000th emailer to correct you on your misunderstanding of the birthday paradox. Remember I told you last week, if you're in a room with 23 people, there's a 50-50 shot. I think you have a share a birthday with somebody. It is
that why it's called 23andMe?
Yes, that is why. He said in a group of 23 people, there is a 50% chance that at least 2 people in that group have the same birthday, not that someone has the same birthday as you. So this guy got up my ass. Garrett. P.S. Lindsey Sterling plays a plastic violin and Blake should just admit it.
Ooh, damn, son.
This guy just
fried your ass.
Seems mad, and she plays it really well.
Can I give you a gummy thought?
Yeah, bruv.
I'm not worried about blindness. Or going deaf.
You mean when the thing your mom would tell you was going to happen if you keep...
No, or
we back to bad beats?
No, this is just a quick one. I just want everyone to know. Like, I've long said that I think in my lifetime, no blindness.
They will eradicate blindness?
Yeah. Now, I know that there's a lot of different types of blindness out there. They got a bunch of different various products and blindness. Because I'm also not worried about hearing. I think I'm starting to lose it. You probably have a real problem with that, too. Like, you talk really loud. And you wear headphones. You've been doing it longer than I am. I'm already losing some of my hearing. I can tell. But I just don't think this is going to be a problem for us.
Now, do I talk loud or do I project? Is there a difference?
Defensive? And here's my other one. And everybody's got a different algorithm, right? So...
You talking algo?
And I do like that one. But why is it, in this age of trying to improve yourself, self-improvement as grasturbation, as Tyler Durden would say, why is it that when my timeline is just smashed with, here's the best way to meal prep, 8 great exercises to open your hips, 10 exercises that if you do in a row will burn 500 calories in this, 6 books to read to never fail again. These 5 recipes will get you like your gut health, which will lead to mental clarity. These 3 meditation techniques. Are there any women who do this? Why is it only men? Only who are talking about this? Are women just capable of living normal? Because my wife doesn't seem to have a problem with any of this. She's just a normal person.
No,
I'm not saying there's no women.
And women live longer than us.
But we have to...
And they're not doing all this
We
crap.
have to acknowledge the fact that all this shit, all this optimize your life, breathe, sleep, steps, protein, meditation, hell, treatment, it's all dudes.
Well, yeah, theirs is like avoid these oils. Switch to glass instead of plasticware.
I do know about the lady flu.
And the biggest one, how to manipulate your man. It's just different. It's just
Maybe
different.
that's a good point. Maybe that's a good point. I just see a lot of stuff that I'm supposed to be doing every day, which essentially would take like 29 hours a day. Got to read for an hour before I get up. Got to reflect. Got to journal. Got to walk. Got to lift. Got to meal prep. Got to go to bed early.
5 signs your husband is unhappy. And then they'll sit and watch these influencers go through all 5. It's just different. Ultimately, it's the same message, just how to be happier.
It just seems like I'm constantly getting pelted by this stuff, and it's only dudes that are like, I don't think you're living right.
Well, hers is probably like 3 signs your husband's an alcoholic.
I don't think that would have been a tough list. I think she would have been right. Like, it would have been rushed. Like, whenever your kid's trying to write something and runs out at the edge of the paper, you're like, you didn't make enough space. Like, you should have.
I have one more for
By the way,
mail.
to the listener who complains, I didn't bring it up. Blake did.
About what?
We're addressing all of the comments today.
Oh.
What did I bring up?
Drinking.
Oh, does somebody in the comments like?
I don't only bring it up when I think it's funny.
You're not a hero, bro.
No, no one does that. They're just like, shut
Everybody
the fuck
does.
up.
Oh, okay.
Which
the
good advice sometimes.
The implication is that you're not a hero. Let's slow down, right?
Sure.
Like other guys got drunk and stuff. Again, should the heroes be the guy that didn't have to go to rehab? They could pull themselves out of it and like keep going to work every day and didn't have to leave their buddies just to do a show by themselves.
I need you to right now quit any substances for the rest of your life.
Whoa!
And report back.
Look, I just thought we were all joking around here. We're just having fun, right? Now all of a sudden you got to.
I would never ask you to change.
My last one is a hot mayor follow-up.
Ooh.
From Warren in Savannah, Georgia. We were talking about, well, he says, Dear Uncle Clit Clotter, I thought I'd give you a little background on the hot Jacksonville mayor, Donna Deegan. Remember her?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
She had to eulogize the original owner's wife while introducing Quasimodo as their new coach.
And she seemed incredibly hot.
She definitely had, like...
Certainly mayor hot.
Power hot, yeah.
So here's a guy, Warren, who grew up in Jacksonville, he said. He's from Jacksonville. She used to go by the name Donna Hicken. She was a weekend news anchor for the local Jacksonville ABC affiliate, was married to Dan Hicken, the TV's sports anchor. Looking at the two of them, it was clear that Dan married someone way out of his league.
Shout out Dan.
Eventually, Dan quit his job at the station. Rumors started to spread that Dan and Donna were on the outs due to an affair. It was later discovered Donna was shacking up with Tim Deegan, the same TV station's longtime weatherman.
Damn, that's hot.
A surfer.
Spicy. Deucey better.
And also an Aggie. He was weatherman hot, I guess. He had blonde hair, blue eyes, and surfer bod. Although he looked to have leathery skin from being out at the beach all the time. But who am I to judge? Of course, as you could tell by her current last name, Tim and Donna eventually married, and now somehow she's the mayor. Enjoy your show. Please, more rehab stories, more Dingu, more Sarah Hepala, more roast twins. From Warren. And he says Callahan is also a very small town outside of Jacksonville, because his kids were named Jackson and Callahan.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Donna Hicken, or Donna, what's her name now? Donna Deegan.
Double D's.
But how about that?
That's hot.
That's
very
You're
hot.
married to the sports guy.
Yeah, what's our dude's name?
And you cheat on the sports
Dan
guy
Henry.
with the weather guy.
Dude.
Yes, you're married to Dan Henry. Or you're married to Ducey. And Ducey's wife leaves him for Dan Henry. And then she runs for mayor and wins it. And then, so Ducey has to look at his ex-wife, who's
This is incredible.
banging the weatherman every day, doing press conferences.
Oh, man. They open a new arena. He's got to go interview her. That's great stuff.
Oh, my gosh, yeah.
That's very...
Imagine that. All right, going to do the news, and it is brought to you by our sponsor of today's program, Tito's Handmade Vodka, distilled from the first legal distillery in Texas, founded by the sixth-generation Texan Bert Tito Beverage. Tito's is American-made at its best, and selling its first case in 1997. Tito's comes in a standard bottle with a modest paper label, so all you pay for is the high-quality vodka inside. Simple, smooth, and mixes with anything. Tito's is America's favorite vodka for a reason. 6 times distilled till it's just right and naturally gluten-free. Tito's is a high-quality spirit made for the smoothest martinis and the best Bloody Marys. Beyond the bottle, Tito's has gained a reputation for giving back, teaming up with nonprofits around the world to serve its communities and do good for dogs. It is the vodka for dog people, after all. Make your next cocktail with Tito's and learn more at titosvodka.com. Distilled and bottled by 5th Generation Incorporated, Austin, Texas. 40% alcohol by volume, distilled from corn. Copyright 2025, crafted to be savored responsibly.
Here's Jake with the Dumb Zone News.
Well, I nailed that read, dude. You have to project sometimes. Now I'm loud guy. Now
I
it's in
thought
my
it was
head.
great.
It's in my head, and I'm loud.
37-year-old man executed last night in Huntsville. Got that lethal jecty. He was pronounced dead at 6:50 last night at the state pen. His name, he's a black guy, Stephen LaWayne Nelson. Now, I only say that, the race, because I find this as a universal tie between races. Because as Mike Reiner used to say, when you get the middle name Wayne involved, you got a problem.
Interesting. John Wayne Gacy.
It was a lot of them.
Really?
Now, of course, you only know the name the middle name when somebody's infamous.
Yeah.
But I find it interesting.
But if there's a lot of Waynes.
Yeah. I find it interesting in the community the same thing stands. They just put a little zest on it. It's Stephen LaWayne Nelson. It's just the same name.
Yeah.
Like,
was it after Lil Wayne?
I don't know. This gentleman killed an Arlington Reverend, Clint Dobson, in his church back in 2011. This is our first Exy of 2025.
Okay.
And the reason I'm reading this, and it's a sad story. I don't know if you were hoping for a happy ending in this one, but he did kill the guy, suffocated.
Well, this guy got killed, so that's happy, right?
And as he was being killed, before the lethal injection was administered, he told his wife, who watched, that he loved her and he was thankful and grateful. He then turned to the warden and said, "It is what it is. I'm not scared. I'm at peace. Let's ride, warden."
Okay.
Like,
let's copyright that phrase.
Yeah, I think Mark Wahlberg already tried the "Let's Ride" one. I don't know.
Did this guy's estate have to pay Mark Wahlberg?
I conflate all those stories. "Let's Ride" is United, or Let's
Roll.
Yeah, and Mark Wahlberg said that if he had been on that flight, it would not have gone down. Something like that.
Right.
Are you aware that a local...
I believe that, by the way. Mark Wahlberg's a badass, and I don't want you to be
I like my chances. I like my chances.
With Mark Wahlberg?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd rather be on a plane with him than me.
Very fair.
Yeah.
We've touched on this over the last year or so, but local luminary embroiled Brian Curtis in some controversy. You guys been keeping up with what's going on with old TD Jakes?
I have not.
No.
Well,
after he fainted.
He did faint, which was interesting because it was happening right around the time he was getting roped into Diddy stuff. Like, hey, TD Jakes,
So-
he was named in a lawsuit.
So kind of like the Randy Johnson flu, when you're out of the lefty is out of the lineup when Randy Johnson is all of a sudden I'm sick today.
Dude, if I could dap you up right now for that sports reference,
heck yeah,
I would. So there was the Diddy stuff saying that he was involved in all that. I'm really bad at this too. Like our guest was saying that.
Yeah. Here, give me a index finger into there. Put it in there. We're doing fun with the camera now. Yeah.
Get that in there. So there's a pastor that has come out and said that Mr. TD Jakes tried to groom and sexually assault him years ago. There's a second one. This one is Pastor Richard Youngblood. And these are charges.
I know him, man. He
Is that me playing that?
He want to play the whole game.
Hey, there's the Dorian clip.
Hey,
it
unfroze.
So this is kind of complicated, but this pastor, Richard, is filing an affidavit attached to a motion to dismiss a defamation suit filed by Jakes against this guy's brother, who also says that Jakes assaulted him. So you got one guy says, TD Jakes assaulted me. TD Jakes says, that's defamation. Original guy's brother says, no, he assaulted me too, and I would like that out there in a motion to dismiss. So it's complicated, but they're all involved. It is brothers, two guys who are it's not two separate things, you know. It's not two strangers who didn't know each other. What I'm saying is their stories being the same is not that supportive of the evidence. In this affidavit, Youngblood says he went with Jakes on a trip as his driver, and in their hotel room, Jakes got into bed with him and pressed against him and tried to kiss him.
It's forward. They were sharing a hotel room?
Yeah. Which I think, like, this was happening in the 80s. I don't think that was uncommon. You know, you watch, like, Mindhunter or any show like that. Couple blue-collar dudes traveling the country. They're getting a two-bed at a motel and leaving in the morning before anybody else is up. This guy says, on our way back after the meeting, I brought up what happened and expressed my extreme discomfort and that I loved my wife. I'm sure that's exactly what you said. His response was a slight grunt, something like, To which I asked what that meant. He responded that it kind of hurt his feelings to hear me say that. So, anyways.
And then nothing happened? They didn't do anything?
No. I mean, this is a long time ago, man. I mean, the closet is full of people who had something like this happen to them, and they're like, everyone's going to really hate me if I say this out loud or in public. So, I don't know. It's a weird situation because TD Jakes clearly is involved in a lot of accusations at this point. But is he just a big enough deal? He's Emmitt Smith's pastor and every famous athlete of a certain age in this town that they're never going to believe it. So does it even matter? I mean, the easy comparison is Trump. Although I think a lot of his people think he did a lot of that stuff and are just like, it doesn't matter. He's getting done what we want to get done policy-wise. But
well, I thought that's what you were saying about TD Jakes.
Well, with TD Jakes, I'm saying I think your followers just don't believe it.
Oh, okay.
I mean, they just say,
that's possible too.
There's no way. This is a man of God, a man of the cloth. But it is tricky when it's two other pastors. It's not. Now, they could be jealous. I'm sure that's what they'll say. They're just jealous of his success.
Right. They're just trying to sell a book.
Yeah. So, I don't know. That's a very interesting one.
What do you think about this? Used to be a thing where people would have a repressed memory brought up by a psychiatrist or something like that. You're in therapy and you remember.
100% believe that.
You do believe that can happen?
Yeah.
Because I think there was a backlash on that stuff too.
That it's not real?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
that some of it is suggested. That's why you're saying you're kind of looking for something like that.
I believe that too. But I do believe there are times when people kind of memory hole something that was very traumatic and try just to, people war, whatever, of I'm going to forget about that.
Mm.
And they have, I've done a type of therapy before where it's eye movement therapy. It's really trippy. Where you go, it's literally like going to the eye doctor where you put your eye on that thing and they shoot the air at your eye.
Mm-hmm.
Except you just stare into this thing and you do talk therapy while it's happening. And you have, let's say, a couple traumatic events in your life. They will ask you to talk through that and relive it while they do crazy stuff with lights on your eyes. And by the end of it, you actually feel better and you kind of reframe that memory.
You've done that?
I've done that.
What's your memory?
There's a problem with you guys. I can never say anything without being it's all roads lead to what's the worst thing that ever happened.
Tell us when you got diddled.
But I do think, Luka, if you want to go in there and talk through that, maybe they're having a big time right now. But again, it's tough because you can't. It's very hard to tell somebody else what you're saying is your memory is wrong, even if you kind of believe they're making it up. It's not easy.
I wonder if it was the Hawkeye prank call. What else could it be?
That was very traumatic for me. So to tie a couple news stories here, we talked about the price of eggs last week. That's not just inflation related. That's avian flu related. A bunch of chickens died.
Well, my wife was watching the Today Show news yesterday. She'll watch that in the evening.
That slaps.
Yeah, little Savannah Guthrie. It was a strain pun headline of the week. I don't know. Brian Curtis does that.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't know if he takes audio versions. I want to cut it off and send it to him, though. Trying to make that podcast. What was it? I think I wrote it down somewhere. The strain pun headline.
Brain Notes would have hooked you up on this one.
Shower notes.
Yeah.
Eggs. God damn it, where'd it go? Oh, shell shock. The price of eggs.
Like that.
I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're still hanging on the rim if you're able to pull that one off.
Yeah.
But no, this story that NBC has, which ties in with what I'm dealing with in my neighborhood right now, there's a company called Rent the Chicken. You can just rent a chicken for 6 months, and
I like it.
2 hens lay about a
That
dozen
way you
eggs
don't
a
have
week.
to commit.
Yeah, 4 hens lay about 2 dozen eggs a week. That's, I mean,
I think we could have done that math.
Oh, sorry, I just read the sentence. You're right. That's a great point.
How about
Blake.
8 hens?
Good point. But yeah, that's an option for you out there because we're really getting on the egg game these days at the house. It's a big player.
It's got a lot of prote.
I don't know.
Man, you guys are out of control.
That one was bad, right? Just police each other. You had one earlier that I thought was swag.
Don't you always think it's weird that
God.
that your prote is in your scrot?
I do. That's where you store it.
Yeah.
That's very cool. I almost sent you guys a picture when I got home yesterday from our big business meeting of not of my scrot, just chicken on the front porch. Like he's not even.
The neighbor's chicken was up on your front porch,
like at the door. Like not on the yard flat. He's just sitting at the door, and
that's where you got
walking up.
Let
I
the
just
dog
heard
out.
The dog going ape shit. Anyways, there's your news.
The Dumb Zone News. Like and subscribe.
So that was the sound. It was fake of a car accident.
We think.
So if you get in a car accident, we want you thinking of Frankel and Frankel, personal injury attorneys chosen by the people, feared by the insurance companies.
And they're feared by the insurance companies because they used to defend the insurance companies. The call is coming from inside the house. They use that experience to advocate for you. They're the people's attorneys. 214-817-333-3333. If you get in a wreck, make sure you're fine, make sure you're safe, the fam's good, and then call the Frankels right away. You will speak to a partner, and they will get you what you deserve.
The Dumb Zone presents Today in History.
I'm glad we started early, Blake. Can you imagine all the stuff we're going to be able to do this afternoon?
Like what?
I don't know. You guys want to go to the men's club or something?
No, thanks.
Look at some titties.
Boy, think of the price of legs and eggs right now.
I know.
I am hungry.
Yeah.
Anyway, today is Thursday, February 6th. I kept thinking all morning it's Tuesday. I don't know why. But now I feel like great. It's Thursday.
I love the way that this has been going.
We're going to be off early.
We got the Hosmoto show tomorrow.
We got a big remote.
Please come to the remote. It's very important to us. You will get free beer, free coffee, free pizza. So just come out. Even if we suck, just please come out.
Yeah, says here,
Soroy,
the Hosmoto Museum.
Motorcycles.
I said I would stop drinking in front of you, though.
I said I would stop coming in front of you, and you said you want me to do that, too. With over 230 motorcycles across 13 decades, it's a gearhead's dream come true.
Hello.
Gearhead?
You know me for 2 seconds. You know two things. I'm not a racist.
Fellow gearhead here.
I know you, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah. Soroy's going to be out there, it looks like.
What a day.
Chappie?
We'll see.
All right. On this day in 1935, the Monopoly board game went on sale for the first time. Are you a Monopoly guy?
Yeah.
Okay, because that was a huge family get-together. Me and the cousins, the adults are going to do their thing. They're playing cards or something. We all go play Monopoly.
Yeah, I had a group of buddies. We'd get together and play.
Monopoly was dope because it felt like an adult game. It's not Candyland or any of the children. You know what I really loved, though? Life.
Never got into that one.
I loved that one. Made me feel like an adult. It's like, well, I got a split level with no insurance. The game's over. That's life. You would get this like, oh, you're poor. And it would just be that.
For comedy, would you if you got married, would it be another blue, not a pink?
I get it.
almost
Look, he's gay.
Gay.
I mean, that's probably what you did, but I'm such an alpha. I just got 2 of the pink ones.
Oh, yeah. So I'll jump ahead to this day in 2013. Hasbro Incorporated announced Monopoly fans voted online to add a token to the board game which replaced the iron. The iron. What is the new token on the Monopoly game board blade? You know? It has replaced the iron. So you got your hat.
You had the hat, you had the car, you had the cat.
Oh, no, it's the cat.
They added the cat in 2013?
That's when they added the cat.
Oh.
That's what it says here.
So the thimble was already in play?
Thimble. On this day in 1987, Ronald Reagan was the president. He turned 76 years old. He would then add another year to the record of he was the oldest U.S. president in history. President Eisenhower, previous to that, was the oldest at 70 years old. Reagan was 76 on this day.
Like, it sounds really
Guess he
bad.
would go on to be,
But it does make sense that guys can play later in their careers now, like with seriously. Like, yeah. I do think that I look at my dad now at whatever he is, 66 or 7, and he's nothing like my grandpa, or whatever. Both of them were at 67. Like at 67, they were cooked.
Although your dad is
he's very active
triathlon guy. Yeah,
but that wasn't
takes
even
care of himself.
But my grandfather didn't even know that existed. You know what
right,
I mean?
But I'm saying though, it makes sense for LeBron.
Yeah,
for Tom Brady. How does it make sense for Trump? He eats hamburgers. He drinks Diet Cokes. He does not work out.
Come on, bro.
What?
You know how much the
supplements?
Yeah, if you've got the money,
or they're just shooting you up.
Yeah, you get.
He's got a blood
probably
boy.
Awesome blood, dude. If you walk it, like, there's places where you can go get your blood drawn or whatever, and you see that here's what we offer sheet. Like, this is what rich people do. You're getting like a B12. You're getting a steroid shot. A this, everything you need every day. You be living right.
On this day in 1998, Mary Kay Letourneau, she was 36 years old and a former teacher, was sentenced to 7.5 years in prison because she violated her probation because she hooked up with the 14-year-old father of her baby.
Yeah.
14.
Really?
And then she went to prison, got out of prison, and they got married.
Mm-hmm.
And they lived happily ever after, right? Till her death.
Yeah.
It all
crazy story.
Can you imagine being their kid?
Insane story. And you know what's funny is, like, I know a guy who lived in Seattle around this time, and Villy, his name, I don't recall how to say it. He was a DJ, and she would just go to the club. You know, she's 20-something years older, and he would just DJ gigs at nightclubs, and it would just be like, and my wife, Mary Kay Letourneau. Really weird scene. But they were, like, in love, man. I know it's rape, but like he was with her in her dying moments, like,
yeah,
very comfort. I don't know. It's a weird story.
On this day in 2012, Linsanity began. Jeremy Lin of the Knicks scores a career-high 28 points in his first start.
I remember where I was. Seriously. It was random, but that was a big deal.
What was it, a week, 2 month?
Yeah, about a month, maybe 3 weeks.
He'd just kill it every game.
Till he got exposed as having one weakness, as described by a ESPN writer who was quickly fired.
There was a chink in his armor. On this day in 2018, SpaceX's new rocket blasted off from Kennedy Space Center on his first test flight, carrying a red sports car that would take it to the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter. So, like, there's a red sports car floating in that asteroid belt. Or, I don't know if it's there yet. Probably not. Maybe. How long did it take Matt Damon to get to Mars? Did you see that one?
I didn't see any of them.
He ate potatoes?
I've heard it's good. I've heard Interstellar is great. but sad. And so I said, no thanks. No thanks.
What's that accent you used?
Me deciding I only want to watch non-bummer, non-serious movies.
It's his I'm better than you character.
It's actually I'm worse. I'm not capable of handling heavy content. Pussy.
Viewer mail birthdays. I forgot to do these. Dear Clit Comptroller. And then definition. Comptroller is a manager-level term in accounting, so you either account for the clit or manage the clit.
See, you nailed the joke. You didn't need that.
Well, let me read the rest of Tim's email.
Tim's email,
who says, it is my buddy Brandon Kuvion's 50th birthday.
Koovy.
Happy 50th birthday, Kuv.
The Kuv.
Love you guys from Tim. Fire Nico. And more Blake.
Dude, I'm saying.
So he asked for more Blake, and you're just shitting all over his email.
I was trying to help. I'm saying, you came out with a banger. Don't explain it, just walk away.
Big Dick Dan.
That'll get your email read.
Yeah, man. No, that is not the way you want to go. You want to set the bar way lower, especially when...
Medium McDowell.
Medium would be great. Medium would be awesome. February 6th, it is my buddy Jorge Martinez's birthday. He's turning Zach Orr on the mean green.
Blake.
His leader is cussing Ted Emmerich. Is it racist that he tells his white friends his name is George? From Dustin, DF number 404. P.S. I sent $20 to the Dumb Zone Venmo.
Explain the George thing to me.
He's just pandering to the whites.
Yeah, Jorge will tell his white buddy his name is George.
Yeah. It's not bad.
And dear Captain of the Clit, first I want to hear what Jake thinks of my son's name. It is his Jason Kidd birthday today. Brenham Luka.
I don't love Brenham.
I was listening to Jake talk about how he'll never get to experience Luka with his son. We were season ticket holders. Took him to 2 games, but of course he won't remember them. He loves Luka so much, we love Luka so much, we gave him the middle name of Luka. Now I don't know what I'm going to tell him when he's 8 and watching Luka win his 3rd or 4th title and asking me why did I name him after a Laker and not a Maverick. This one hurts. I'm not sure I'll ever get over it. Day 1 DF, Justin.
Don't love the first name, probably because it makes me think of everything Aggie related. Just down there. Sounds close enough. But I truly believe this, especially now the story, and he's going to win in L.A., and it'll be L.A. I think Luka Doncic is going to be one of the most famous people in the world in 5 years. Whether he's not really built for it like that, but he's going to be. And the whole world will get joy out of him. More than they would have if he were a Maverick, honestly. So I think you're going to be able to look at your kid and be like, this is exactly how I want you to play sports. And yes, I mean also yelling at the refs. Who doesn't love it, folks? It's a good name for your kid.
He brings joy.
So that name reminded me of Colt Brennan.
Yeah, Hawaii. Bless up. R.I.P.
Who needs to be on our death team that we constructed.
Full disclosure, the death team was started by a buddy of mine when Colt Brennan died.
Okay. Yeah.
What's the death team?
You just gotta come up with like the best football team of just deads, and it can't be.
It has to be at the age of their death.
I think so.
I think so. Yeah.
Because obviously you would.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know. Get Red Grange. I don't know who's a good old
Sammy Ball.
Sure.
No, it's got to be like an untimely. Yeah, at the time of their death, and Colt Brennan is in the mix for sure. But quarterback room is pretty stacked.
I know. We might have to move the hefty lefty to tight end.
Corey Stringer.
That's a good one.
Who's your quarterback room?
Well, you've got the hefty lefty Jared Lorenzen, but you've got Steve McNair.
Haskins.
Steve McNair was retired.
He was still really good.
Kind of young.
He was relatively young, wasn't he? But Dwayne Haskins is the other one, yeah.
Okay.
And then we got Sean Taylor.
Sean Taylor's a
at free
beast.
safety. Come on.
I bet.
Boy, Eric Turner's going to play safety. You don't even know who he is.
Nope.
Yeah.
Browns.
Yeah.
When did he die?
Cocaine guy.
Oh hell yeah, we're gonna get. He's gonna fit right in. There's
late
quite a
80s
few of those.
Late 80s cocaine guy, I think. Maybe 90s.
Green dot on defense, Javon Belcher.
Okay.
What?
Maybe we don't allow murder sueys on the team.
Oh, now you're a moral upstanding?
I want the guys that did cocaine, not killed people.
Look. You got to get on that team however you got to get on that team, you know?
Clogging up the middle with Jerry Brown.
Yeah. It's a good one.
I wonder how the kicker game would go.
Dude, way better than you think. Way better. First of all, well, no, for a moment I briefly contemplated whether Sebastian Janikowski was still alive because he seems like a guy.
He seems like a guy who might have died.
Yeah.
Other birthdays today. Former Dallas star Fabian Brunstrom is 40.
Dan. You
I
and Bob
predicted big things for him. He had a hat trick in his first game. First game.
Post-game show.
And the rest of his career.
buzz.
Oh, my gosh.
Sign us up for 4 more years of this.
I believe we would have ran whoever it was, Neuendijk, Hull, Jim Nill, out of town, had he traded Fabian Brunstrom. He was our Luka. He ended up with 16 more goals in his entire career.
That's awesome.
3 in his first game. He has 19 career goals. Chris Humphries is 40.
Wow, that's crazy. He just
rarely thought of.
Rarely thought of.
on
You
the
know what? I
timeline.
was listening to a basketball podcast yesterday. Bobby Marks, the cap guy for ESPN, used to work for the Nets front office where Chris Humphries played. And he was talking about like trade talk that happened at the Chris Humphries Kim Kardashian wedding. And I had just completely forgotten Chris Humphries ever existed.
She had to get off of that.
Yeah,
That just doesn't match up.
Bad contract. It's a stepping stone, though, you know?
Tom Tupa is 59. He was a quarterback / punter. And he scored the first ever 2-point conversion in NFL history for the
solid.
Browns. Also a Brown, Don Cockcroft is 80. Don Cockcroft was a toe puncher, straight ahead kicker. Like the Browns had a history of this. They had Lou the Toe Groza, straight ahead kicker, Don Cockcroft for a 13-year career. And then actually, I told you guys about Mark Mosley, who they ended up signing late in his career, but he was the last toe puncher kicker, I believe. But he was also the NFL MVP one year during the strike season. Go take a look at Don Cockcroft. I just find it funny. In his rookie season, he led the NFL with 75% field goal conversion rate. And now that would be like he would be out of the NFL, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. The next 3 years, 52%, 54%, 53%. And they decided, you know what? I think he needs 10 more years of a career. This guy's hitting over 50% of his field goals, and there was never a thought that Don Cockcroft wouldn't continue to be the kicker. Like, if he goes under 50, call me. Otherwise, Don Cockcroft, you have a spot here for life.
Well, he attempted 20 field goals over 50 yards.
In his whole career?
And he hit 4 of them.
Well, you got to give, I mean, probably into half. Let's see what he can do. Make a little magic.
But then, yeah, from 40 to 49, he only hit half. Man.
I bet he was pretty good at those extra points, though.
He missed some of those, too.
So much so that they had to invent a 2-point conversion.
Yeah. Colin Morikawa, 28.
I think Corby once won like $10,000 on him over a Colonial bet.
Actor Charlie Heaton is 31.
That also might turn out to be racist. I just remember it was an Asian golfer.
That, of course, was Jonathan Will Byers' brother in Stranger Things.
Which
is coming. Also, I believe coming back for its final season, but the kids from Stranger Things are literally in their mid-20s.
Mm-hmm.
This is a big problem. The problem when you start a show with kids is that if you keep it going, they're going to get to a level where it's okay for them to make you horny.
Right.
And now you have a different show.
Right.
So that's like,
we
didn't.
Then you feel bad about it.
We didn't follow Hannah Montana to college so she could be at a frat party gangbang.
I told you, I feel bad about thinking she's hot.
But it would be worse if she were still like doing that
character.
culturally. Yeah.
Yeah. But she is hot.
And the problem there was a delay right there is because Dan was thinking about Hannah Montana in a gangbang. I just
Not
want everyone
Hannah
to notice,
Montana herself.
I just want everyone to
I was
notice.
older.
There was 2 seconds of hang time between the next story, and that's exactly what was happening.
It was either Hannah Montana or 9 from Stranger Things.
Yeah.
Or 6 or
Smoke Monster.
Sure.
Just get your own bit. He's going to make fun of Stranger Things. Why don't you just join me?
Don't let him hurt you. You and I.
What if I paid you to watch The Boys? Would you watch it?
Probably.
Yeah, okay. I just want to know if you can be bought.
Of course.
Kathy Najimy is 68. That's Peggy in King of the Hill.
Oh, wow. Clayton.
Axl Rose, 63. And Rick Astley is 59.
Nice.
Great bit.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
a good bit, yeah.
Wonderful internet bit.
I hope he makes money off that, although I'm certain he doesn't.
Just rickrolled?
Like, I hope at least the Spotify and Apple and everything hits made it worth it.
That just harkens you back to a great time of the internet.
Much simpler time.
Oh, yeah.
You know, remember when getting rickrolled would be your thing?
Oh, damn.
Maybe a little 2 girls, 1 cup.
Got me again. Yeah. I mean, hell, for our generation, let's grab the Arnold Schwarzenegger soundboard on E-Bombs and make some prank calls, why don't we?
Those are great.
What do you guys got going on tonight?
Born on this day, now dead, Babe Ruth.
Yeah. He's part of a bad trade.
Seen a lot of that recently.
Yeah, but that would be like trading Babe Ruth 3 years into his Yankee career. Like, they traded him. He was not yet known as Babe Ruth. We traded him when we knew it was Babe Ruth. We're like, yeah, I know he's Babe Ruth. But the guy, he just won't listen. I want a guy who's going to do these drills. 182.6 WAR.
Is he in, folks?
Oh
shit! You know what's about to happen too? By the way, speaking of the halls, we're about to have Eli talk. I'm not needing it in my life right now.
Why? He didn't make the final list, did he?
He's like possibly going to be announced this week.
Okay, well, I'm ready for it. Let's debate that.
I don't think it's going to be much of a debate, but we can support.
You think he's going to be in?
Oh, I think he's going to be in, and we're both going to have to say. I'd really like to remind everyone how absurd this is.
Okay.
But he'll find out like tonight. Never first or second team. Never an MVP vote.
Not even a vote.
Not even a vote.
Ava Braun, born on this day, now dead.
She got a raw deal.
Well, at least she didn't die alone.
It's very true.
She was married. That's the most important thing. Rip Torn.
Dodgeball.
I was thinking more of the Larry Sanders Show. That's Artie.
He's also on Independence Day.
And says here Kempspin next to Bob Marley.
The CIA tried to kill him.
Mm-hmm.
The CAA, the agency that just signed President Biden?
Yeah.
They did?
Did you see he signed with CAA? I swear to God.
No, I mean, I'm not surprised. Like, given the Obama thing, they probably rep him too.
Like, speaking engagement?
Yeah. There's a lot of money in it. No, but the CIA, there's a lot of talk. That's pretty much just what I do in life. Whenever there's something that I'm like seems fishy, I'm like CIA. But, you know, he was kind of like
black.
Well, he was speaking against power in island nation, and we were real fired up on making sure nothing changed in Central America and in, you know, Caribbean. I just did a Trump. Central America and Caribbean.
And dead on the Stay Still Dead, we have James Whitmore. That was Brooks in Shawshank.
Damn. Institutionalized.
Yeah.
No.
And that was Today in History.
Hey, remember yesterday we were talking about the Mavericks trading Quentin Grimes for Caleb Martin? Caleb Martin's a little banged up.
Mm-hmm.
Turns out he's like way more banged up. And so Nico, being the genius he is, Philly's sending us an extra second-round pick. Because the guy he traded to add to his win-now roster can't play for like another month. Like Quentin Grimes is playing.
Mofo.
I'm gonna kill myself.
Done with this.
Thank you for watching my video. Subscribe and type for my name if you want to watch more of my videos.
Danny Bayless, Danny Bayless, Danny Bayless, Danny Bayless, Knock City Knocker. Danny Bayless, Danny Bayless, Danny Bayless, Danny Bayless, my pick got sifted. He's on with Dan and Jake and Blake to make us all laugh, make us all laugh, make us all laugh. Ha 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 ha. Please welcome to the show the genius, Danny Bayless, Danny Bayless, Danny Bayless, Danny Bayless.